Earthquake country. What exactly causes the sudden and violent shaking of the ground? Is Christian McCaffrey's unbridled power to blame for these tectonic shifts? He's a number 5 that registers 10 on the Richter scale. Or is it due to something supernatural? Perhaps a mustache that angers the gods? To find the truth, just trace the San Andreas fault line from Palo Alto to the Rose Bowl, where the Bruins and the Cardinals square off for state supremacy. What am I talking about? I can assure you that I have no idea. But who cares? It's Saturday Night Football here on ABC. Hey, Kirk and Chris, I'm still a little hungover from hosting the Emmys, and I never actually graduated college, so I'm turning this over to you. Text me who wins.
We get it, Jimmy. I don't recall getting Jimmy's number, but we'll work on that. He's a Pac-12 guy, Arizona State, right?
Yeah, he's got a feel for this. He likes to kind of downplay that. But last time we saw him, we were playing games on Halloween and everybody getting scared. So it's good to see him again.
Let's get the pregame views of David Shaw with Samantha Ponders. Sam?
Well, Coach, you've never lost to these guys, but you bring in a quarterback tonight who's never started on the road. So how would you describe what you're asking of Ryan Burns tonight?
Well, I think it's Ryan Burns and a lot of guys. We have a lot of guys that haven't even played a game here. So all the things in the past don't really matter. Today is about our first road test against a good football team.
When you look at your defense and the challenge they're up against in Josh Rosen, what's the key to being successful against him?
Well, you got to have pressure on the quarterback, and you can't forget about the running game. They got multiple running backs that they rotate through there, and Josh is a special player, so we got to make sure our coverage is sound. We got to try to get pressure on him.
Appreciate your time. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Sean will tell you that what happened in the last 8 meetings means nothing. Jim Mora didn't overplay that. He told me he didn't use the word Stanford at all to his team this week. Didn't have to, Kirk. They all know.
Well, when you build an entire offseason on we're going to adjust our program to be able to match up with the physicality of Stanford. It actually reminds me of Stanford used to say when Chip Kelly was at Oregon, we're going to get faster on the perimeter. We're going to change our entire philosophy just for Oregon. We'll see if it works out for UCLA tonight.
So UCLA won the toss, deferred. So Christian McCaffrey back to receive the kick of the true freshman J.J. Molson. Yes, from that Molson family in Canada. And we'll see if they give McCaffrey a chance. Only had a couple of kickoff returns on the young season so far. Underway in the Rose Bowl. It's a short kick trying to keep it away from number 5. Bounces. Michael Rector takes it along the sideline, and the starting receiver for the Cardinal gets it out across the 30-yard line. So the first road start for Ryan Burns, who's a 4th-year player, has been around forever waiting for this chance.
Yeah, he's had to be patient. And, you know, we don't know a lot about him at this point. We do know you run the Stanford offense, the pre-snap command, getting into the good plays, getting out of the bad plays. And I think tonight, downfield production. Stanford has not had to throw the football downfield vertically much against Kansas State and USC. Only 134 yards a game. It's 122nd in the nation. Tonight, with the way UCLA will defend him, he's going to have to make some plays downfield to Michael Rector.
And they will throw it on first down as Burns stands in and delivers a slant. It's a catch about a half-yard short of the first down there by Trent Irwin, the sophomore.
We're seeing it here in his first play of the game, but the mentality of Stanford, the intellectual brutality. We're going to run the football. We're going to get physical at the line of scrimmage. They will, but I think you're going to see them break some tendencies tonight with Mike Bloomgren and David Shaw, where they throw a little bit more on early downs, and then you can get back to your bread and butter of running the ball and rely on that line and Christian McCaffrey.
It is a first down after the 10-yard gain on the opening play, and now the first catch from McCaffrey, who cuts it back, is tripped up after a 3-yard gain.
Christian McCaffrey last year really exploded onto the scene, and he'll be the first one to tell you, which you got to love from a superstar, is it's all about the offensive line.
Look at that's ridiculous, Kirk. Against 8 in the box, which is half the time, he still ran wild. They got 6 yards a carry against a stack box, 107 before a Trojan even touched him.
Well, he is used to that, and Stanford's used to that, but it tells you the offensive line, even though they're still gelling, they're doing a pretty good job.
There's a throw near side, catch made by Rector, who is upended. Jaleel Wadu, the diminutive but tough little safety, came up. It'll be 3rd and short.
Just anxious to see Ryan Burns tonight. And we came into this game talking a lot about McCaffrey, but we just don't know how good Ryan Burns can be. Chris, you mentioned he's had to wait. He's had to pay his dues behind Kevin Hogan. Got into a quarterback battle in the spring and into camp with Keller Christ and ended up winning the job. because of being more consistent.
McCaffrey to the right of the quarterback on 3rd and 4. They throw it to him in the flat, and somehow he's loose. And is corralled in UCLA territory after making a first down. He's been the most targeted receiver in the pass game so far this year.
Well, they sneak him out, and they actually create a wall right over in this area right here. And the linebacker is trying to flow to get out there. They kind of get caught up right here, and there's nobody out in the flat. Easy throw, easy read, well-designed play there on 3rd down. Create kind of a rub or a pick. Officials aren't going to make that call, and it makes it easy to get your best player out in the flat.
And you see one of those jumbo formations. A whole lot of big bodies up there, and a shift to the right side. And that's where McCaffrey tries to run it. Hits a seam. McCaffrey plays off a block. Another first down inside the 35 before Kenny Young, the defensive leader for the Bruins, tackled him.
Watch this block right here by Nick Wilson. He's going to come in here, and there's Vanderdoes. They want to send a message to him early in this game. Boom, right there, a trap. He comes upfield, and the backup guard who's wearing that 96 tonight just blows up the talented inside defensive tackle from UCLA, Eddie Vanderdoes. And not only they pick up big yards, but they send a message to number 47.
He was counted on to have a huge night in the heart of that Bruin defense. 13 for McCaffrey on that run. He's got it again. The quick burst. McCaffrey into the secondary. Hauled down to the 20, but huge holes and a good-looking opening drive by the Cardinal.
Yeah, great job by Marks, the fullback, number 35. And also see Johnny Caspers work his way up to the linebacker. Watch him get up to the linebacker. Just follows the fullback right in behind this. Nice job. Great execution there by the right guard and the fullback of opening up that running lane. Remember, UCLA has worked and worked. They know what's coming, and you still can't slow down this offensive line.
Everybody knows what's coming.
Yeah.
Back-to-back 13-yard runs for McCaffrey. In the pistol now. Hesitation. Burns has still got it. He's a pretty good runner, too, for a big guy. He likes contact. Well, he got some there, and he also got a flag. He was hammered hard by Jayon Brown, the linebacker. The flag was right where the tackle was.
Offense number 57. 10-yard penalty. Remaining first down.
And it's the veteran Johnny Caspers making his 29th start.
Chris, this would have come back, but it just shows you a little bit about you're trying to sneak a receiver down the middle of the field off of the play action fake. Gives you a little bit of idea where Burns is still growing. See how he's got time right here, and his receiver's breaking free. He comes off of it instead of making that throw. Now, it would have come back, but it just tells you about his thought process of still getting comfortable in this offense and making those reads. Receiver broke free. Safety was out of position coming up to tackle McCaffrey. It was a wide open play.
So the Cardinal behind the chains now at 1st and 20, and a whistle. False start again. So atypical execution for Stanford's offense after a nice drive.
False start. Number 64 offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
David Bright, he's a 4th-year player, but it's his 1st year starting at guard.
Interesting to see Casey Tucker, who has started the first 2 games at left tackle, has moved back to his more natural position tonight, right tackle, and they've moved to A.T. Hall, who's started the first 2 games at right tackle, 75. Now he's moved over to left tackle, so they've just kind of flipped after the first 2 weeks against Kansas State and USC being on the opposite sides.
See what Bloomberg calls here in 1st and 25. They hand it to McCaffrey, who plows ahead for a short gain. McCaffrey will get busy tonight. We'll see him in the slot. We'll see him set out wide. We may see him in the Wildcat formation.
Yeah, but last year in the Wildcats, where he really hurt the UCLA defense, hasn't had a lot of success. You know, it's early in the year, going to run it a handful of times, but he always has a chance to get back there.
And you feel they may have saved a thing or two for this game.
Absolutely.
Both sides, matter of fact. 2nd and 22. Got to get all the way to the 10-yard line to make a first down. Burns in the pocket, now runs away, looks for a block, gets one, and shows that he is a physical runner. He's a guy that at 235 pounds, Kirk says he actually enjoys hitting people.
Well, and I think that's an aspect of this offense the quarterback has to be willing to do. We saw Andrew Luck, we've seen Kevin Hogan. That's a great thing to do against a defense that just showed you right at the beginning of the snap, they're playing man-to-man. And if guys are covered down, and you have that athletic ability, it's great for Burns to show he can pull it down and pick up yards, and now it gives him a chance here on 3rd down.
They need 9. McCaffrey in the slot to the left. Bruins rush 4. Burns has plenty of time. McCaffrey was tripped up, didn't get out as Jayon Brown was in coverage, and it's 4th down.
UCLA, that is a win for them, and they had the assist of a couple mistakes from the Stanford offense. But anytime Stanford gets into the red zone, by the way, only their 3rd time this year they've been into the red zone.
Fewest in the FBS.
Yeah, but anytime they get into the red zone and you force a field goal, that's a win.
Here's the 5th-year senior, Conrad Ukrapina, 3 for 3 so far on the season. This from 37 yards. Knocks it right through. So the Cardinal take the opening kickoff and march 10 plays, 50 yards. The drive undone by a holding penalty, but they tack on 3 and draw first blood. Up final for men and women. Olympic soccer, the final BCS championship game, the first college football playoff game, and so many other classics.
My favorite. I love this place, just like you.
Never
anybody's been here. Grass, as always, is in good shape. Turf.
Bruins have a hard time because there's frankly not often a full house for a home game, kind of generating the same energy and execution that they do on the road. We'll see if they can in their first offensive series as Jake Bailey kicks it deep into the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. So Josh Rosenkirk, you said he's got to be calm and relaxed and not try too hard tonight. Why is that?
Well, it's because he has so much potential, and I think sometimes guys with a lot of potential, they try to feel like they have to live up to that billing, the chosen one. For me, it's about relaxing, taking what the Stanford defense will give him, and trying to be more consistent. And you and I both this week watched a lot of the film to get ready for this game, and there are times that, as we said, he looks like the quarterback that a lot of people talked about, and there are times where, just like any other young quarterback, it takes a little bit of time to get comfortable, and you're always running a new offense this year with Kennedy Palomalu bringing a little bit more of a traditional pocket drop back passing game, so he's still adjusting to the scheme.
Twice this year they've taken a deep shot in the opening play. This time they feed the tailback. That's Soso Jamabo, the tall Texan, in a short game. Tonight's Chick-fil-A impact players.
Well, let's look at UCLA besides Rosen. We decided to get an offensive lineman in there. It's Scott Quesenberry, the center, who's going to have to do a really good job of making the right calls. Soso Jamabo is going to have to be physical. Harrison Phillips back kind of anchors that defensive line. He's going to have to do a really good job. And you're going to see a lot of different linebackers who are going to have to do a very, very good job of their gap responsibilities.
Second and hand up, but Jamabo is slung down by Solomon Thomas, the best defensive lineman in that Cardinal front seven. It's a loss.
They shoot the gaps very, very well here. Remember, the confidence that Harrison Phillips can create is here, but you're going to see him shoot this gap with just quickness. He has great length, but also quickness to go along with it. And that time, it's a nice job of Lance Anderson slanting and angling the defense in the right way. Caught UCLA's offensive line completely off guard.
Sets up Rosen with a 3rd and 9. Stanford just 2 down linemen on this 3rd down look, and Rosen pressured, throws complete, but well short of a first down. Catch is made by Eldridge Massington, so the Bruins go 3 and out.
Alfieri on a delayed blitz. He was kind of dropping. He looked around, almost gave an impression as he was just kind of looking for a running back to pick up. The offensive lineman looked at him and thought he was just a decoy. He wasn't even involved in a pass rush. And then he turned it loose, so he caught the line again off guard there. So Stanford playing some mind games there with UCLA.
McCaffrey back deep. The true freshman Austin Kent sort of bobbled the snap. Got a frantic punt away. At least he kept it away from number 5, and it actually worked out pretty well. Rolls out inside the 25-yard line. So McCaffrey, already with 32 rushing yards in the opening possession, goes back to work the Cardinal up 3-0.
Brought to you by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy, and Dr. Pepper. It's a college football tradition.
Great day to be a blimp pilot. Our Goodyear aerial coverage committed to honoring blimp-worthy athletes who demonstrate hard work on and off the field. Goodyear, official sponsor of the college football playoff. After after UCLA goes 3 and out on its first possession. Stanford takes over with a 3-0 lead from the 23. Productive opening drive. Ryan Burns in his first road start, 3 of 4. McCaffrey has 32 yards rushing and 4 carries.
UCLA showing man-to-man across the board, safety in the middle, and they're dropping back off of it now to the right. That's why Burns made a check.
Burns looks left immediately, fires Rector. Catch. No, now they're ruled incomplete. There was some hesitation. Nate Meadows was in coverage. Rector went up high but couldn't collect it.
Yeah, they're looking to see if he got his knee down. I think both his feet looked like they were out of bounds, but did the knee come down? No, he's out of bounds. Good call by the officials.
Didn't quite have control.
Yep. But the check there by Burns, good awareness, recognized the blitz, got the check, the one-on-one matchup. Michael Rector, number 3, is going to have to make plays and win when he gets one-on-one matchups.
World-class speed, fastest guy on the team, although McCaffrey disputes that a little bit. And this is the tailback testing the middle. Jaleel Wadu at $175 came in and tackled him.
Hope our cameras can do the justice of what he really looks like in person. I mean, I think he takes great offense to people that look at him and say he's undersized for a tailback. He's 6 feet, about 205 pounds, and rocked up. I mean, I don't know how you could say he's small. He's a big dude.
Not for those who have tried to take him on.
No.
He's in the slot to the right on this 3rd and 6. Burns sacked, and that's the first sack by UCLA against Stanford in the last 5 games. Deion Hollins, the senior from Houston, came off the edge as a flag down.
There's defensive holding here. Dalton Schultz is going out for a route and definitely got held by a UCLA defender, and that's where the flag is.
Flag is way downfield.
Holding. Defense number 42. 10-yard penalty. Yardage will result in a first down.
That really stings. Nullifies the sack, prolongs this drive, and moves the ball up to the 37-yard line.
The pressure actually comes from right here. And watch how quickly he gets around. Remember, they've moved him over, but the defensive hold is going to come in from right there, right behind there. You can see the hold.
Got his money's worth, didn't he?
Yeah, he sure did. Unfortunately, that was a big play for UCLA's defense. They had a chance to get Stanford off the field.
But how about that, Kirk? The last 4 meetings, no sacks of a Stanford quarterback by UCLA. It's incredible. McCaffrey makes a little cut, tries to bounce it, cannot escape. And there's a sure tackle there by Josh Woods, the linebacker. To Cassidy Hubbard for the studio update. Cassidy.
Thanks, Chris. Dr. Pepper Championship Drive update in Louisville making quick work. Lamar Jackson to James Quick. A 71-yard touchdown. Jackson's 9th TD of the season. He's now 3 off the record through 4 games. This was a 3-play, 89-yard drive in 55 seconds. Chris, Herbie, back to you.
Quick work. I see what you did there, Cassidy. We'll see Louisville next Saturday night against Clemson in Death Valley. Look forward to that one. 2nd and 9 from the I formation. McCaffrey again clogged middle and picks his way for a short gain. The Bruins guys up front doing a pretty good job so far on this drive.
They sure are doing an outstanding job of holding their point. That was an emphasis this week from Tom Bradley, the defensive coordinator. He knew that Anku and Vanderdoes, if they were going to be able to get Stanford into those 3rd and obvious passing situations where they're back at 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 plus, they had a chance to obviously slow down and not let them sustain drives. And it meant that defensive line was going to have to play well.
McCaffrey a breather on this play, not out there on 3rd and 6. Burns from the pocket delivers a strike. Again, another first down. Irwin went down low and got it.
Great patience there by Burns, just letting the play develop and putting the ball down low for Irwin to go down and make a play on it. He knows that he has to put that ball, on 3rd down and 6, a sure-handed receiver like Irwin, you put it down low and away from the defender, he can go down and make the play and pick up the first down, new set of downs.
You had to be impressed when you watched the Kansas State game, his first ever start. He went out and started 10 for 10. He made his first 9 3rd down completions. Think about that against a good defense. This is Bryce Love, the speedster, spelling McCaffrey, and bounces a routine run into a 9-yard gain.
I really liked what Mike Bloomgren told me this week about Love. They said, you know, with Christian McCaffrey, we already knew what he could do after last year. So in the spring, when we did a lot of the live work, when we were taking good against good in spring, Love got all the carries. And so they really found last year he was just a fast back. Now he's become that much more instinctive along with the speed. And it's great to bring him in to spell McCaffrey from time to time.
Love's a guy who ran a 10.700 as a 14-year-old. It was a national record at the time. McCaffrey back in there as Burns throws a pick. Picked off over the middle. Kenny Young, the linebacker, picks up blocks. And Young motoring down inside the 30, shoved out of bounds. And the veteran linebacker capitalizes on the mistake by the quarterback.
Yeah, and I just think Ryan Burns here did not see Kenny Young in the middle of the field. He's lined up right here. You're going to see the receiver work across. Watch Ryan Burns' eyes actually keep Burns right, or keep the linebacker Young right there. The route's coming across. His eyes take him right to where he's going to throw the ball, and Kenny Young just kind of baited him and waited. And then once he made that throw, Kenny Young showing the athletic ability to almost take it all the way to the end zone. But that time, Ryan Burns' eyes, instead of waiting and looking him off a little bit longer, he actually brought Kenny Young to where he was going to throw the ball and made it easy for Young to intercept it.
40-yard return after the pick sets up the Bruins at the 26. You fake it to Jamabo. Rosen wanted to take a shot downfield, instead throws it down short. And that's the running back, Jamabo, a short gain after Jordan Perez stopped him.
This is one with Josh Rosen because of his arm strength. Watch the tight end. I think the motion confuses the defense. And if he gets back off of this play fake and he puts the ball right now on a line, look at the throw and look at the yardage. He splits the corner and the safety and probably gets into the end zone.
We've seen that so often this year, Kirk, just not putting the ball in the right spot. Still been productive, but it's what could have been, what might have been if he'd made throws like that. This is Nate Starks. This is the first time that the Bruins have all three of their tailback rotation available in the same game. You've seen Jamabo, that Starks. You'll see Bolo run for me as well.
The one thing about setting up here and drawing that and looking at that, I don't know his read. I mean, there's sometimes receivers break free and you say, boy, he's open. But based on the way his head was looking, it looked like he was looking left. And I'm surprised he just didn't see that, but it has a lot to do with still just being a sophomore and still getting comfortable within this offensive structure.
Yet Ishmael Adams, the speedster receiver in the backfield to Rosen's right, hand it to him. And Adams, who is an excellent defensive player, has a bunch of pick sixes, an excellent returner, has shifted exclusively to offense this year. And he gets the first down.
And he does have great quickness, and I think that's why, as much as anything, they wanted to just make sure that he got on the field. They have great depth in their secondary, and because they're healthy, they're able to move him back over to the offense. And boy, they have a lot of depth. Look at the backfield. You look at a group of wide receivers. They don't really have just one or two guys. They've got like 8, especially out at receiver.
Red zone's been a problem this year for the Bruins, especially in that overtime loss at A&M. Just a nightmare, able to punch in only 1 of 6 trips against a quality defense in a tough environment. Let's see what they can do here. Starks on that carry.
Just keep going back to Jim Mora's message to his team, whether it was in training camp and over 100-degree temperatures, the offseason. This team, this was the barometer. Stanford, they wanted to be able to match them physically up front in the trenches, and for a quarter so far, they're doing it.
Starks powers forward. It's a physical run, but it'll set up third down and about 5 in the final minute of this opening quarter.
Well, I feel like with this pace, you and I are used to pace where it's like say something within 5 seconds, and this I feel like
yes, we are.
I feel like stretching it out up here a little bit. Woo!
There's kind of a Sunday feel to this game, the style of play, right?
Yeah, this is before next week when we go to Death Valley with Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson. This is like, get ready.
All the run for me is in the game. They need 5 on this third down. Rosen. Good protection. Throws a dart across the middle. Touchdown! Nate Esa, the tight end. And the Bruins cash in the interception and take the lead.
Now,
how about the patience there from Josh Rosen? Sits back there, trusts his offensive line. A lot of traffic in front of him, a lot of guys moving around, and he keeps his eyes downfield and waits for his tight end to break free and get to the end zone.
The ruling on the field was a catch and a touchdown. The prior play is under further review.
Jerry Myeroff, the replay official. This Pac-12 crew wants to take another look at it. You see,
they're just going to check the knee.
Go down. Let's go to the pylon cam. Aggressive sponsoring our look at this play, and it clearly is a touchdown.
Yeah, he's in. Touchdown.
Yessi, his first touchdown catch of the season, the 250-pounder. Bruins proud of their tight end tradition here, and they want to continue to develop what Stanford has, which is an excellent crop of versatile tight ends who can block and catch the ball.
Yeah.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
So J.J. Molson, a true freshman. And UCLA gets a huge play, an athletic interception. Kenny Young, the guy from Louisiana that LSU badly wanted, disappointed some of the home folks when he decided to come to Westwood. He makes the play that sets up a 26-yard touchdown drive in 6 plays. Rosen to Iese.
And Rosen this time, watch him, Chris, sit in the pocket. Look, watch the Stanford defense is collapsing on him. He stays in there, allows Iese to be able to go out and run that route. It took a little bit of time for that play to develop, and then makes a perfect throw and gives the receiver a chance to get into the end zone.
So the Bruins opportunistic jump in front of the Cardinals 7-3. Touchdown against Stanford in the first half this season. It was the 40-yard return by Kenny Young, setting up the touchdown reception by Iese there. So Molson to kick it away. McCaffrey standing at his goal line. Again, they kick it well away, and this one bounces out of bounds, so they make the safe play, but give Cardinal field position at the 35. So check back in with Cassidy.
Thanks, Chris. Taco Bell Studio update. Number 20, Nebraska at Evanston, taking on Northwestern, and Clayton Thorson busts out a 42-yard TD run. The Wildcats still looking for their first home win against the Cornhuskers since they joined the Big Ten. Northwestern up 7-3. Chris, Herbie, back to you.
Cassidy, thank you. An expected quarterback change for the Cardinal. That's Keller Christ, the backup, number 10, the junior who played his high school ball right next door to the campus there in Palo Alto. He got one series in the opener against KSU. It was a touchdown drive. Didn't play against USC, but we expected David Shaw to work him in today.
And again, very similar skill set. If you look at how big he is, 6'5", at about 240 pounds. Burns 6'5", about 235 pounds. So similar to what we've seen in the past from Kevin Hogan and Drew Luck type of quarterback. We'll see if he can do any better here.
McCaffrey dances to the hole, cuts it back, gets a pick from the official there. May have actually gotten in the way and prevented a bigger gain, but it will move the chains across the 45.
Well, Stanford's able to do a better job of being able to control the line of scrimmage, and then watch the natural instincts of the cutback right there. He felt the block from Burke at the center and does a good job of cutting back. The umpire's
got
just
Mr. Umpire.
trying to get out of the way. What? Oh, jeez, look out. He's just trying to get out of the way. One of the few times we've seen McCaffrey have a little bit of room to work with. UCLA's done a great job here in this first quarter.
So Christ on for Burns as the Cardinal on the march at the end of the first quarter. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. Key play of the first quarter was the turnover, Kenny Young's interception, and 40-yard return that set up UCLA's short touchdown drive. Cardinal back to work here with the first down as the second quarter begins. Total yards 102-31 Stanford, but it's been all about field position and cashing in the pick. McCaffrey 52 yards rushing in the opening quarter on 8 carries. This is his second reception. Gathers it. shows that strength to go with the speed and gets about 7.
This UCLA defense in the first quarter, you look back at what they're able to do. They gave up some yards, but how about Eddie Vanderdoes? Watch him. This is what you want to do to Stanford. Intellectual brutality, you want to try to give it right back to them. Also on the inside, Anku, 96, fighting and doing a good job, not letting those linemen get to the second level, and then wait for that mistake and you take advantage of it. Kenny Young makes the interception. Josh Rosen turns it into a touchdown, and that's, as Chris said, what gave them the lead. You can see the love they gave to each other there on the sideline. It puts the Bruins up 7-3.
Speaking of Love, Bryce Love is in, spelling McCaffrey in the I formation. They need 4 yards. And Love's got it. Stutter steps. He'll be dropped behind the line. Again, the big boys up front, joined by Isako Sabiinaya and Jayon Brown from the linebacker positions.
And they go into their ogre package with these big tight ends. Watch the right side of this offensive line. By them occupying these offensive linemen, it frees up the linebackers then to clean up the play. So as a defensive lineman against the Stanford offense, you're not always going to slip through and get penetration, make a tackle in the backfield. It's really more about not letting those Stanford offensive linemen have a double team and climb to the linebackers. That's what they've done a very good job of here early.
Wild calf Kirk on 3rd and 5. Only done this 3 times before this year. And a flag. Michael Batlin is the referee.
Prior to the timeout, illegal substitution, offense, 12 people in the huddle. 5-yard penalty, Maine's 3rd down.
The quarterback, Keller Chris, came running off, so he wasn't a guilty party.
Well, and a lot of times, because there's so many different personnel groups and so many different formations for Stanford, and they're going to a Wildcat package that they haven't run a lot of, and you got the ogre package running off the field with offensive linemen wearing 96 and 98. A little bit of confusion.
And the 3rd penalty so far in the Stanford offense, they've been costly. Now it's 3rd and 11. Chris from the pocket delivers down the field, a strike. And then the hit is delivered and the ball comes out. What a shot there. Dalton Schultz, the tight end, on the receiving end of it.
And Goodman, 21, came over from the free safety spot and separated him from the football. Ball's thrown between the safety. Watch the safety from the right there. Goodman makes the hit. That's what he's known for. They put him in the middle of the field and let him lower the boom. Clean hit. Dave Kataya up here, our official, all over it.
He did leave his feet. He did launch.
Yeah, but he launched with his shoulder into his chest.
Adams just has to do a matador and let it bounce dangerously. It'll roll dead at the 5-yard line. So Rosen and the Bruins get the ball back 95 yards from the end zone, up by 4. His 67-year career, think about that, calling Dodger games, ends next couple of days for Vin Scully. Tomorrow is the final Dodger home game. He'll call that one and go on the road, and then the remarkable career will be over. Look at the moments that he has helped document in the booth.
Yeah, that look, 25 World Series. I grew up still am a big Reds fan, and the Reds and the Dodgers, all those games, and I used to love listening to the games on the radio more than watching them.
People tell us the same thing. so Jamal
been on Twitter too long.
Tests the middle, a short gain. See how adventurous Kennedy Polamalu gets calling plays down here. Backed up to the goal line.
Lance Anderson, the defensive coordinator from Stanford, rotates a lot of bodies. He'll play maybe 27, 28 different guys. And right now there's a completely new defensive front, a new group of linebackers on the inside, new group of linebackers on the outside. They rotate safeties and corners. Play a lot of different players to try to stay fresh.
Rosen at the goal line, delivers far side, complete. Catch made in traffic short of the first down by Jordan Lasley, the sophomore. Elijah Holder stopped him. And Holder, who had a big pick 6 against the Bruins a year ago in the victory, remains down on the field holding his right shoulder. So there's a concern here as we check back in with Cassidy Hubbard for an update.
Chris Herbie, there have been a lot of good catches today, but this has to be in the running for catch of the day. Bryce Bobo. Oh, bringing it in. They went for 2 and converted. It's now 41-38 Buffs in the fourth. Both teams looking to improve to 3-1.
That would be a score in the Pac-12 conference that would get some folks' attention.
Well,
the Buffaloes won Watson.
Colorado played really well last week against Michigan, and then there was a point they seemed to almost self-destruct, but they played good enough. That was not a fluke, the lead that they jumped out on Michigan last week in the Big House, and it's like they backed it up today with another good performance.
No, it's not over yet.
Well, they're playing well.
Oh, no, it's a huge improvement. I say that as an alum that's been eager for them to come back into the mix. In this conference, you got Washington hyped. They host Stanford next week. Their first test of the season really against Arizona later on tonight, too.
And Rich Rod has a way of getting his teams ready for these kind of games, and it'll be a good test. Really find out a little bit more about Washington. Of course, next Friday is the big showdown with Stanford and the Huskies.
3rd and 1 now for the Bruins. Gelabo picks his way, has a first down, bounces it, and Soso, tall, lanky, upright runner from Texas. Nice productive play. His first good run this afternoon.
We talk so much about the Stanford offensive line. How about the UCLA offensive line? Watch the young right tackle Colton Miller come down. See a nice block there. Good job of working and executing on 3rd and short on that right side. And Mambo has a good feel for things, able to get that, move the sticks and pick up that first down.
One of those internal matters that he sat out last week's game against BYU, but back today, and he's gotten the lion's share of the carries so far. They fake it to him, and Rosen rolls out of the pocket and scoots for a short gain before Eric Cotton forced him out.
We talked about just seeing consistency from Rosen and patience and just letting things develop and not getting too greedy, trying to be more consistent with his decisions. And that's a small thing there. But just instead of trying to force the throw, sometimes he's guilty of forcing that throw to try to make a play. You can either throw it away or maybe pick up a few yards. And that time he just ate it and picked up a few yards.
Polomano, totally different system than Mazzoni ran a year ago in penetration. That's one of the backups. It's interesting. You pointed out Sean Barton from his linebacker position comes up there. Very few Stanford starters on the field right now on defense.
Yeah, but I think they're just as comfortable and confident in this next group. And I think candidly, it just being the 3rd game of the year, they're still just feeling this team out. They're trying to find out who are going to be their alphas by the time they get to the middle of the season.
Does a guy jump out there, Shane Scove, a Murphy? There have been so many dynamic, big-name stars on Stanford's defense.
Not yet, and I don't think the coaches really know yet who that guy is going to be. Okay, Riquet could be the guy, 20.
Empty backfield for Rosen on 3rd and 12. Good protection. Goes downfield. Jordan Leslie, and it's just over his fingertips, and yet another overthrown deep ball for this Bruin offense.
Wow, they had a great chance here. They just went with their vertical pass and really just asked one of their faster receivers, Jordan Leslie, to make a play. Matched up against a safety to the outside. He finds the matchup that he wants. He knows that his receiver has a chance to run away from the bigger safety. Just didn't quite put enough air under it.
Kent gets this punt away cleaner than the first time. McCaffrey has to come up and fair catch it. Marcus Tuiasosopo, the quarterback coach, saying they're just hopeful it's going to click. They're not going to keep overthrowing the deep balls. Another one right there. Cardinal back to work, down 4.
Pacific Life, helping generations of families achieve long-term financial security for over 145 years. Ford, we go further so you can. And Dr. Pepper, it's a college football tradition.
We appreciate Goodyear watching over the hard work and determination of blimp-worthy athletes. More than 60 years. Goodyear, official sponsor of the college football playoff. Holder being checked out. He was favoring that right shoulder as he came off the field there. Meanwhile, Ryan Burns back in at quarterback. The starter returns after taking a series off, and play action in first half. Hit hard as he delivers high and incomplete. again. They look for Dalton Schultz. Again, he takes a hit, this time from Wadu.
Well, they bring the blitz because Stanford again goes into that hawk package with the big tight ends, and they just bring their linebackers. They shoot them right through the middle. There are no receivers in this lineup. You know it's either going to go to McCaffrey or the tight ends, and they bring the heat. Welcome back into the lineup there, Ryan Burns.
How about sending two backers up the same gap, like one after another?
The lineman only can pick up one guy.
Meanwhile, Schultz is getting punished with the quarterback delivering a couple of high throws. On second down, he escapes, and he's not going to slide. That's not in Burns' MO. He ducks the head, gets the short gain.
Well, right now, Tom Bradley, the defensive coordinator, the longtime defensive coordinator and assistant at Penn State, doing a really good job of mixing things up right now and keeping this Stanford offense off balance. Being physical against the run. When they're throwing the football, they've got coverage. They're mixing up the looks. They're bringing pressure. They're dropping 8. It's just a lot of different looks for Stanford, and it's affecting their rhythm.
Second time so far, Kirk, on a third down play. McCaffrey out of the game. It's Marks, the fullback, to Burns' right. Snap it at 2 in the play clock. Burns from the pocket delivers. Strike. First down. Trent Irwin, the sophomore from Valencia.
But that time, amidst that pressure that he's felt, this time he steps up into the pocket. Does a good job right there. Pressure all around him. And just think about what he's dealt with those last couple of plays. He throws a seed that time to Trent Irwin for the first down.
He's a quarterback that never was under center in high school or ran an option attack. He came to camp, though, and that's when he wowed him. They could see the arm talent.
Yeah, but to get comfortable in the pocket when you're used to running a wishbone attack, a triple option attack, no wonder it's taken him 3 or 4 years just to get comfortable and have that pocket presence.
McCaffrey direct snap, flips it back. Long throw from Irwin. They tried to get it back to Burns. The Bruins were all over, but here comes a fly. They interfered with the quarterback. Jayon Brown can't believe it.
I think Jayon Brown pushed the quarterback, who was the receiver, early while the ball was in the air. It wasn't at the end of the play. It was before that.
Defense number 12, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So the wild calf and then the pitch off to Irwin, and the receiver chucks it down there. They had 2 guys in the quarterback's vicinity.
This push right there. That's what really affected him and hindered him from being able to run that route.
So the pass interference moves it to the 32-yard line. We knew we'd see some things from Stanford we didn't see in the first couple games. This you expect to see. But McCaffrey has been running into a clogged middle so far. Tunnel Workers Union, those 5 guys up front, sometimes more than 5, have not had their way with this Bruin front at all.
You talked earlier about how he's responsible for an FBS high coming into tonight. 60% of Stanford's total yards. And I think Mike Bloomgren and David Shaw would tell you that as this season goes on, probably starting tonight, that's going to have to change. You go up against the better defenses, they are locked into number 5, and they're determined to make Ryan Burns and other players prove that they can beat them. And that's what UCLA is doing right now.
Burns cannot escape. Jacob Tuioti-Mariner with the sack, and that is the first UCLA sack against Stanford after 4 meetings without one.
Again, A.T. Hall has been playing right tackle the first couple games. He's moved over to left tackle tonight for the first time. And here he is right here. Watch this move. Fakes a spin move and then goes back to the outside. And Hall didn't have a chance there. Tuioti-Mariner is 6'2", 275 pounds, and does a good job. He's usually an inside player, but that time working off the edge against the left tackle.
Sets up 3rd and 15. Burns steps up, delivers a strike over the middle. A big shot delivered on Francis Owusu, and the ball comes out, and Owusu's down. It's a turnover as Adarius Pickett comes up with the ball, and Owusu, who made that circus catch against the Bruins a year ago, pinned against the back of Wadu, Takes a huge shot again. Tahan Goodman has been headhunting back there.
Yeah, Goodman's made a lot of hits here in this game. 2 big hits to separate the football from Stanford receivers. Owusu is still down. He took a big hit.
The ball kind of dropped out right next to him. I don't think anybody around really knew it was a fumble. Then Wadu was alert, pounced on it.
Well, there's a helmet to helmet, looks like.
Now remember, the new rule this year is that the replay booth can buzz down and they can call targeting even though it hasn't been called on the field. Dave Kataya is our rules expert in the booth. Dave, how do you see that if you were in the booth?
Well, you take a look at this. It's got to be obvious to replay. Let's take a look at this.
Oh, Dave.
There's a hit to helmet.
Wow.
I think that looks like targeting to me.
Not only that, I mean, he hits him in the face mask. He also lowers his helmet.
Right here.
Oh, yeah.
That, to me, is with the crown of the helmet. Yeah. I think that's a target.
That's one of the ones that goes on the film at what targeting is.
For fans that get confused by all this targeting and whether or not you're hitting a defenseless player, the important thing is, first of all, that Owusu is getting up, and that's the first priority. But the fact that it was not called on the field, for a lot of fans, they don't understand that replay can look at that and they can overrule and actually say, no, guys, there was helmet-to-helmet contact and make the call.
And Jerry Meyerhoff is the replay official who would make that call. Dave, they've changed the wording. You were telling us pregame. It's no longer an egregious error that they can call down and correct it. It's now a more liberal standard, perhaps because of what happened in Notre Dame and Texas when it was not called.
They didn't change the wording in the rule book.
Ruling on the field was a catch and a fumble recovered by the defense. Prior play is under further review.
Getting back to it, there's no rule book change. It still says.
I don't mean the rule book, but
there's a new
criteria.
There's a more loose interpretation that says obvious, and if you can confirm it, you can call it from the booth.
Dave, I know you and Rogers Redding and the group nationally look at these things. How often are we seeing the booth so far in the first 3 weeks actually call down and say, even though there's not a call in the field, guys, after what we've seen from upstairs, this was targeting? How often is that happening?
I haven't seen it. I've heard of a couple. I haven't personally seen it. You need to look at this as well. This may not even be a completed pass. Take a look at that. Let's look at the pass and we can see that.
Owusu being able to walk without wobbling, which is a good sign because he didn't look good coming off the field. They'll take and check him out. So there's two things to look at. Was it a catch and a fumble or an incomplete pass, and then was there targeting?
Let's see if he has possession of the ball, a football act, a turn, a step. He's got it right there. Let's see. That's a catch, definitely.
Yeah, that's a catch.
I talked to Jerry Meyerhoff, who is the replay official. He says that his crew personally has not buzzed down to call targeting from the booth yet, but it has happened a few times.
That's what Dave was saying. I
was
curious how many times it's happened. We're only 3 weeks into the season, so it's a handful of times.
Exactly.
Okay. There were two aspects during the play that were being reviewed. The ruling on the field was confirmed that the receiver caught the ball, became a runner. With respect to targeting, there was no targeting with the crown of the helmet. Therefore, the ruling on the field stands, interception, first down.
Wow. I don't know. David Shaw can't believe. What do you have to do to get a targeting call from the booth?
Based on the replays I'm seeing, it looked like a hit with the helmet. There was a launch. Maybe they're seeing something different than I do, but I have targeting on that, folks.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Wow. Didn't get called in Austin. Didn't get called here. We applaud the fact that you can make that call when the officials miss it, but are you going to ever use it? Anyway, the hit stands. It's a second turnover for the Cardinal. And Rosen with a play-action fake on first down has all kinds of time. Floats the ball downhill for Walker and overthrows everybody. So he decided, even though there's two defenders out there, I'm just going to chuck it. Got away with it.
Well, that's one of those where you just hope the defender is out of position and on the ball fake, and you throw it as high and as far as you can. But the defense back there, and Meeks almost comes up with the interception.
Almost predictable after a takeaway. They're going to take a deep shot.
Still surprised by that call.
You're not the only one. Starks is the tailback on 2nd and 10. And they fake it to him as Rosen rolls out, gets chased, gets it away, and the catch made by Ishmael Adams. Nice grab, first down. Sam?
Yeah, guys, you were talking about still being surprised about that call. Even during that last play, David Shaw still talking to the officials. He spoke to 3 different officials, was as animated as David Shaw gets, and we know that's not all that much. But when he finally asked the official for the last time, all he did was shrug, which I don't know if that solves the problem.
Sammy, wait till he sees it on video. He's going to be that much more frustrated.
14-yard gain and a first-down handoff as Starks tries to slip away. I have to say it's surprising to me the guys on the field missed it because it's right there where the ball was. It seemed very clear. But Goodman gets away with it. He's delivered 2 big shots.
You know, Rosen had the big throw. This shows you, Chris, how versatile he is and how he's athletic enough to get a simple little rollout, but how he gets his shoulders turned and threw a great ball there for that first down. But he's not just a pocket guy.
Starks running left and runs into a wall of white jerseys. Kevin Palma, inside linebacker, led the stop. Cassidy.
Chris, you guys said people would take notice of a Buffs win over Oregon. Well, they're officially on notice. Dakota Prukop intercepted in the end zone. Colorado wins, getting just their 6th Pac-12 win since joining the conference in 2011, 41-38 at Autzen. Guys?
Cassidy, thank you. That'll draw a gasp from the crowd here.
Congratulations.
Shoulder to shoulder. The Buffs getting it done in Autzen. I don't care if Oregon's down.
It doesn't matter.
You can't dampen the enthusiasm.
It's been a lean 20 years for you. You got to take what you can
3rd
get.
and 7. Rosen, another strike, and Adams makes a first down catch up near midfield. And the tackle was made by Terrence Alexander to prevent a bigger gain.
Watch Stanford have 2 defenders follow the tight end here and actually opens up an easy throwing lane. Watch the Stanford defense. 2 defenders clear out, and look how easy that is for Josh Rosen. A little miscue there by the Stanford defense, and Rosen's able to capitalize.
First carry for Bolo Olorunfemi. It's a fun name to say. Sophomore from Clovis, very flexible, athletic, quick back. You got to look at him last year. Remember when the Bruins beat down at Arizona?
A different feel because of how physical he is, and I thought he ran the ball well week 1 at Kyle Field against Texas A&M, especially down inside the red zone and short yardage.
They like their running backs. They'll kind of search for the hot hand. It's been mostly Soso Jamabo so far. But Starks and now Olorunfemi getting their turn as the Bruins try to impose their own physical brand. Kirk, it'll be 3rd and short.
Again, Jim Mora told his team, guys, we're changing. This is going to be a different offense. Noel Mazzoni has left UCLA as the offensive coordinator, went down to Texas A&M and took that spread tempo offense with him. And Jim Mora kind of looked at everything and said, guys, we can still have that. And you can see here they're going a little tempo, but they're changed. Their offensive philosophy much more physical.
They need a yard. Olorunfemi. Powers easily makes the first down to the Cardinal 40. And the Bruins, who cashed the first takeaway into 7 points, trying to do the same here.
You talk about being physical. Alfieri, the number 32, out here on the outside. He comes down, boom, runs right over top of him.
He's 225, but it feels like the running back delivers more than that.
Yeah.
Rosen play action. Wide open over the middle. Strike down inside the 15 again. It's Iese who scored the touchdown earlier.
That's the one he missed. That's the throw that he missed. And when you run the ball, it can open up these throws for him. He's going to have play action. He's going to hit a seam here. The action goes this way. And watch how the corners and the safety, by going here and here, it opens up the crease right there. He's able to throw it on a line, and he got the ball out of his hands quickly to give the tight end a chance to, again, make the play and then get down to take care of himself. That's the exact play that he missed earlier. This time he finds him for the big game.
Well, Kirk, earlier we saw Elijah Holder, one starting corner for the Cardinal, down on the field. This is Quentin Meeks, the other starting corner, being attended to. So concerns in the secondary with the Cardinal as the Bruins are marching. USC, one starting corner is out with the shoulder, and in that tent is Quentin Meeks, the other starting corner for Stanford. So we've got a couple of guys having to step in here. Terrence Alexander, Alameen Murphy, as the Bruins of a 1st and 10. Rosen on the roll, being chased, throws for the end zone, climbing the ladder, but not coming down with it. No catch. That was Alexander on coverage. Kenny Walker couldn't collect it.
Alexander comes right into the game. He gets challenged there by Walker, goes up, almost comes down, but the ball and his momentum takes him out of bounds. But I tell you, Alexander, look how deep he gets into the end zone. You know, he's got to play that.
Little push off from the receiver helped him, I think.
Well, yeah, that, but I just think he was unaware of where he was on the field. He's got to be a little bit more aware, not getting so deep there and not taking. He's not going to go through the back of the end zone. You got to settle at the goal line.
They went right after the backup, though, didn't they, Kirk? Now they'll test the middle and know where to run. Ola run for me, just grabbed by big Solomon Thomas, the tough Texan.
He is a great player. There's one guy that you know of that is kind of a mainstay and a guy that's been around and played some football. It's Solomon Thomas, most talented defensive lineman they have. Harrison Phillips, who's back this week and kind of is the anchor in the middle, but Thomas is more the playmaker for that defensive line.
Co-captain sets up a 3rd and 8. Ishmael Adams is to the right of the formation. Single coverage on the speedy number 1. Giamotto is the back. Rosen looking left all the way, delivers in traffic, incomplete. And Bruin fans wanted a flag as Caleb Wilson was well covered there. There is none. Alameen Murphy, another backup. And here comes a field goal attempt.
Good job by the secondary here. I mean, you lose your 2 starting corners. You're going up against Josh Rosen. Stanford prides itself on the depth. Rosen just gets that by, and you know, when you slow it down frame by frame, you could say that he's all over on the back of his shoulder there. But that, when you're watching that in real speed, that's a good no call.
So Molson, Canadian, the freshman kicker, on for a 27-yarder, 4 for 6 so far on the season. And son of the famous Canadian brewing family extends the lead to 7 here. Only 2 minutes to go before halftime. We saluted Vin Scully as his brilliant career winds down. Our athletic trivia question centers on Mr. Scully, who began broadcasting for the Brooklyn Dodgers back in 1950. In college football that season, Kirk, how many major college bowl games existed in 1950? Different kind of question.
4.
4?
8.
I'm going to say more than 4. Obviously, this one, Orange Bowl, Sugar
8.
Bowl. The Sun Bowl was around, right?
Was a blue bonnet around back then?
1850. I think that's a little bit later. I think yeah, 7 or 8. That's a good guess.
Tangerine Bowl.
Short kick by Molson. Rector again. They haven't.
I think I remember the Salad Bowl being going back to the old days, right?
There's a few defunct ones, like the one that Corso won out here, right?
Aflac.
The answer is, to our Aflac trivia question, 8.
Rose.
Salad.
I said 8.
Salad.
I figured the salad was in there.
The Presidential Cup. I don't believe you knew the Salad Bowl. I think you were prompted there. You knew that?
No, I knew the Salad Bowl because it's so crazy. I was looking for that. Boy, the Rose Bowl.
Presidential Cup. Of course, ever coaching that one?
He played in it. He didn't coach.
This is Bryce Love on the handoff. And the Cardinal now not used to playing from behind. Yeah, it's only 7 points, but you look at the blueprint, the way they've won the first couple of games this season and so many other games, they usually get the lead and sit on it.
And it really affects their play calling and their rhythm. Now, you know, they're in 2-minute world, but they're not used to being behind very often.
Burns, incomplete. Again, broken up. Getting a hand in there to knock it away was Nate Metters. Intended for Irwin. 3rd down. Bruins may get the ball back here.
UCLA, if you look at this first half, and considering the opponent and who you're playing and the style in which they play, I don't know if Jim Mora could have drawn up a better first half for standing in the middle of the ring and kind of going toe-to-toe with this Stanford team.
Burns from the pocket, delivers across the middle, catch made, and battling hard for 1st down yardage is J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, and he earns that one.
Arcega-White does a good job here of fighting. You're right. He caught that ball 2 yards short, but showing great effort there to get the first down.
So minute 15. The Cardinals still have 3 timeouts. Officials are going to confer.
Timeout. UCLA. That's their first.
So the Bruins will spend a defensive timeout here. Mora, who told me last night he really prides himself on game management, how to use his timeouts, when to call them. He's from the NFL background. He believes a lot of time, gets very scientific. He's had mathematicians tell him exactly when to call timeouts, the best moment, and decides to spend one on defense here. And the Cardinal have a first down.
Well, great coach. I mean, you know, by his background, the thing that I've really enjoyed is seeing him come from the NFL into the college world, takes the UCLA job, and how he enjoys the kids. Like, he really enjoys the relationships with the players and challenging them.
Burns cannot escape. It's a short loss, but the second sack for UCLA. And we'll see if the Cardinals spend a timeout here. Clock ticking down, not so far. Tack McKinley.
Yeah. And it's again A.T. Hall that they're bringing that pressure on from the left side.
Tack made the tackle, but he looks like he's ailing at the moment. Now a flag and a false start. So they chose not to spend the timeout. They've got 3 of them there and end up getting a 5-yard penalty. Got to get to work on Michael Batlin's mic there at halftime.
Yeah, McKinley was
underwater.
McKinley was walking around just like that last week. You know, he's had a groin he's been dealing with and some other injuries, so he's showing a lot of heart just being out there trying to play. And they need him out there because of his ability to rush the passer, especially in this situation.
He's a guy that runs a sub 4.5 40. He's had some concussion issues as well besides the groin.
False start, number 64 offense. That play occurred while the clock was running inside of 1 minute. It's subject to 10-second subtraction on the game clock.
So there's bad news and there's worse news.
Set the game clock to 42 minutes.
42 seconds, I think he means.
42 seconds, and the clock will start on my ready for play.
So back 5 yards, take 10 seconds off the clock, and the Cardinal not great execution in this 2-minute drill so far.
Now here's the pressure again. The left tackle, A.T. Hall, getting challenged here. And moved the tight end over to help him.
McCaffrey picks his way for a short gain. Now they'll spend a timeout. Wadu on the tackle.
McCaffrey, by the way, Chris, a pretty quiet first half. And we got another 30 minutes to go. But
I thought they would take a timeout. They didn't. Apparently zero urgency to try to cut into the lead here. Wow. Okay.
I was going to say just 10 carries, 59 yards in his first half, and just a couple receptions.
Almost nothing in the second quarter. Those came early, most of those yards. And with 4 seconds, 3, 2. Wow. First time since 2007, UCLA will lead Stanford at the half. Couple of Stanford turnovers cashed into 10 points. And Josh Rosen, 7 of 11, just 77 yards with the 1 touchdown. But the Bruin defense is the story in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, they met the challenge from their head coach. And 30 minutes. We have 30 minutes to go. This is where the fun really begins, is 2 really good staffs go to work and make their adjustments to get ready for the last 30 minutes of the game.
The BMW halftime report. Stan Verrett, Mark May, Mac Brown coming up. Scores, updates from crazy happenings in college football. At the end of the half in Pasadena, 10-3 UCLA. Sam will speak with David Shaw right after these messages. Picked off over the middle. Kenny Young, the linebacker, motoring. Rosen across the middle, touchdown. And the Bruins cash in the interception. McCaffrey dances to the hole. Burns cannot escape. Cardinal not used to playing from behind. And welcome back to ESPN's Saturday Night Football on ABC. Josh Rosen and the Bruins lead by a touchdown, but the story has been the containment of Christian McCaffrey and the Cardinal offense by the Bruin defense. A couple of takeaways, a couple of sacks, and that's big news against the Cardinal. Kirk, and McCaffrey held to 72 all-purpose yards. Only had 3 touches in the second quarter.
It really goes back to what we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast about UCLA's goal was to load up and do everything that they could against McCaffrey, no matter where he lined up, and make Ryan Burns in the passing game execute, make them make plays in the passing game, and basically put the game on his shoulders. And they've done it for 30 minutes. Now you're going to see Mike Bloomgren and David Shaw make adjustments, and we'll see if UCLA is able to continue to keep McCaffrey bottled up. I think Stanford's going to have to make plays throwing the football.
You thought that coming in, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bruins had a short drive for a touchdown and a long drive for a field goal. Other than those 2 possessions, they have 24 yards offense. They'll get the ball to begin the third quarter as dusk falls here in Pasadena. Ishmael Adams is 5 yards deep in the end zone. He'll receive the kickoff from Jake Bailey. And Adams will take it 3 yards deep and bring it out. And he'll be stopped short of the 20. Moments ago, Sam spoke with Jim Mora.
Well, Coach, your defense held this offense to 3 points. Impressive by anybody's standards. How are you able to create that type of success defensively?
Well, the 2 turnovers obviously help. I mean, you know, you've got to somehow get the ball away from these guys. They just play keep away, so we've been able to do that with the turnovers.
But specifically with Christian McCaffrey, the guy that you called the best in the nation, you've done a great job on him so far. What does it take So far. What does it take to sustain that success?
We've just got to keep doing our job. We've got to keep our shoulders square. We've got to tackle. We've got to enter plays with leverage on him. I mean, this guy's, you know, he's a second away from making something big happen, and so we've just got to continue to do what we're doing, and we're going to try our best.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate your time.
And the catch by Walker on the edge, spins free. Kenny Walker out across the 40. Hard to bring him down. And Rosen with a first down throw, and the Bruins are in business again.
Keep in mind that we have backup corners in the game for Stanford. Meeks, a starter, and Holder both are out of the game. So you have Terrence Alexander, a junior, and Murphy on the other side. And Rosen right away challenging Murphy there with a throw on the outside.
Tough to have both of your starting corners out. I know Shaw says they have depth, but those guys were starters for a reason. Rosen, straight back hit, knocked down. Flying through is big old Solomon Thomas with the sack of first for Stanford.
Yeah, he is just a big physical defensive lineman. Look at him just push back the young Colton Miller. And he's just one of those defensive linemen that has the ability to use strength and quickness. And when you have that on the inside, you're going to make a lot of plays.
Miller is a young tackle that like with potential, but he got taken to school there by Big Solomon that time.
Absolutely.
2nd and 17. Rosen this time feels the pressure again and cannot connect downfield. Incomplete, as again they came after him.
Yeah, what can really affect the Stanford defense is when you get into your nickel and your dime packages and you take away your starting corners, and maybe the backup corners might be specialized players, and now that they're starting, it handcuffs you a little bit and limits really what you can do. That time Rosen again attacking Murphy on a high-low concept where he stayed up high. He just stayed down low rather and just missed the throw over the top.
And again, it was Thomas attacking Rosen. He rolls out this time and throws back. Catch made by Ayese. And the tight end having a big night, weaving across midfield. A huge gain, just a couple of yards short of a first down, and the Bruins are going to try to pin him deep now.
They had great tight ends. You come into the game thinking it's Stanford tight ends, but Ayese's made already the touchdown catch, but 6'3", 250-pound senior. Pretty elusive for his size, and almost came up with the first down with that effort.
I like the tight end wearing 11, the slimming number.
Yeah, I like that.
McCaffrey does not have a return yard yet. They've been kicking away from him on the kickoffs. And he's made some fair catches on punts, and this one just going to zoom it into the end zone. If he wants to return that, he's going to have to go 5 yards deep. Kirk, our Pacific Life game summary. The Bruins kind of beating the Cardinal at their own game so far. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. They came in with a kind of a physical presence in mind and what they wanted to do defensively to try to bottle up Christian McCaffrey and win the line of scrimmage against the physical Stanford offensive line. They've done that. They came up with a couple turnovers. Here's Kenny Young with an interception, set up a touchdown. And Josh Rosen, we talked about the big tight end there. Yes, save for a touchdown. The only touchdown of the game, give them the 7-point lead. Been able to take advantage of the 2 turnovers into their 10 points.
What would you say if you're coaching up Ryan Burns? It was 7-12. He had the costly pick in the first half.
He's got to maintain the same concept, but I think you're going to see a little bit more of an aggressive mindset here. They're going right back to that ogre, that hawk look with a big lineman.
Got to hurry. Snap it at 1, and McCaffrey squirts through. How about Jim Moore saying so far to Samantha about containing number 5?
Yeah, there's an entire second half, and Stanford has been Stanford for a long time, going back to Jim Harbaugh, bringing in that physicality, and it's carried on with David Shaw. And they pride themselves on, hey, it's been a tough 30 minutes. We haven't been able to run the football. It's not as if they're going to abort their game plan and all of a sudden go to a 5 wide receiver look. They're going to continue to try to challenge you at the line of scrimmage and sprinkle in some play action looks.
McCaffrey got 6 yards on first down. Got it again. Makes the quick cut upfield, and they move the chains to the 35.
There's a kind of an outside stretch play, but watch how he puts his left foot in the ground and makes up his mind. Watch this slowly just kind of boom right there. He sees that hole open up. That play looked like it's designed to go outside, but he sees the defense is overflowing. He puts his foot in the ground and cuts it back and picks up some good yards.
Eli Ankou, defensive lineman that Tom Bradley told me is so crucial to their success, said he has to play well tonight if we're going to succeed. He has been playing well, but he is being looked at. And we'll take a timeout here as downtown LA sparkles in the dusk. Dodger Stadium. Day in the life of the Progressive Pylon Cam. Capture all the pregame pageantry. You get kicked by Kenny Walker. Oh, you got to bounce back. You got to be tough. They can fix it. Sky eye view.
Beautiful.
Eli Ankou helped to the locker room. Key component in that Bruin front 7, so other guys will have to step up as the Cardinal try to mount a drive here. McCaffrey in the eye. He's got it. Tries to escape. Gets the edge. Christian McCaffrey will stiff arm and scampers out after a 6-yard game. Cameron Judge forced him.
He said get the edge, and that's something he's not been able to do because they have set the edge. They've not allowed him to use that acceleration and quickness and the vision that he has. It's one thing to be strong at the point in the middle there, and Tom Bradley told you and I how important that is, but you also can't let him, because of how quick he can accelerate, can't let him bounce.
That's 7 on first down, and now Burns from the pocket escapes, flips a low pass. It's complete. He was very near the line of scrimmage when he let it go, but Irwin makes another catch up near midfield. First down.
Again, it's very, very tough for an offense to take the ball and go 70 yards in 12 plays or 80 yards in 13 plays.
That's your Utah last night.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying, as good as Stanford can be at that, they need some explosives. Right now, UCLA is keeping everything in front of them, not just McCaffrey, but the entire Stanford offense.
Well, there's a whistle and a timeout from UCLA, and the reason is because McCaffrey went into the Wildcats.
UCLA, that's their first.
This is interesting, Kirk, because it's another defensive timeout used by Moore to try to get on top of anything tricky that Stanford might throw at him.
Well, that and I think they've played so well on this side of the football. I mean, they're controlling the game because of the way their defense is playing.
Moore told me he was inventing plays in practice that the Cardinal haven't even showed for the scout team to run against the #1 defense, just to get them used to looking around for 5, being ready for anything. He was making stuff up. Well, tomorrow, 8 Eastern, Sunday Night Baseball, the Cards and the Cubs from Wrigley Field. Is this a special season for the Cubbies? They haven't done anything special yet, but
Last year was supposed to be a special year.
Bring up last year. You bring up this year.
I know. I'm for him.
9-0 since the All-Star break.
I'd love to see the Cubs get it done.
As a Reds fan, I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
Baseball tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern time.
I love the
game.
story. I love Wrigley. I love it all. 7th inning stretch.
I got it. So first down, and McCaffrey in the wild calf just navigates through heavy traffic. It looks like there's not going to be a crease. He's so patient.
Well, he's patient and he's waiting for that crease to be there, but the defensive line is doing such a good job against this offensive line, and so freeing those linebackers to come in and just make the plays. They're giving up 2 or 3 yards, but up to this point not been able to get the big hit from McCaffrey.
He hasn't thrown a pass out of the Wildcat this year, but the Bruins said they're ready for it just in case he decides to do that. And McCaffrey again, just plowing straight ahead. He shows the power in those legs and makes a couple yards out of nothing.
I mean, you know that for the most part, 98% tendency he's going to run the football. He shows this and then he bounces back, kind of like a counter play. But look at the defense. That time they set the edge. As good as McCaffrey is, where's he going to go? I mean, this defense right now, incredibly well schooled by Jim Mora and Tom Bradley to get them ready to defend this running game.
Tuioti Mariner made the stop that time, sets up a 3rd and 4.
Got man-to-man.
Got to hurry. McCaffrey again for a 3rd straight time. Doesn't quite have first down yardage. It'll be 4th and a yard. Let's see what David Shaw elects to do here. They trust their guys up front.
And I almost feel like that play call was to get them to kind of a 4-down decision. And they're going to get close enough to feel like that. Let's go for it. And looks like they're actually going to play field position.
Oh, okay, so the punter, Jake Bailey, does come out. Shaw not feeling in a gambling mood. They needed a full yard. The Bruins 42. Bailey and this coverage team are very, very good at knocking the ball and pinning opponents deep, and they'll just take the 5-yard delay to give them 5 more yards. But it's they get starting receivers. You got number 2, Trent Irwin down there, the fast guys, and they've done a terrific job this year pinning opponents back. I'm surprised he didn't go for it.
I am too. I really thought. I thought he called the 3rd down play, where a conservative look for them to. They have man-to-man matchups that they could probably win on the edge. Instead, he runs the ball with a zone read kind of look and decides to. I thought maybe get it to 4th and 1 or less.
He's disappointed.
Frustrated, yeah. They've done a really good job of containing their offense.
Bailey just drops the point and kicks the backspin. It's a high kick. Adams lets it bounce, and they've done this again and again and again. It can't be an accident. I mentioned Irwin, the starting receiver, gets down there and downs it at the 1, so now he's a genius for playing field position, right?
Well, of course. Great call.
Got to be careful if you're Josh Rosen here, up by 7, but backed up at your 1.
Dr. Pepper. It's a college football tradition. Cadillac. And DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Day is turned tonight here. Aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear, committed to honoring blimp-worthy athletes to demonstrate hard work on and off the field. Goodyear, official sponsor of the college football playoff. Will the Pac-12 produce a playoff-worthy team? Stanford is best equipped, I think, coming into this, but down by 7 midway 3rd quarter. Bruins are backed up, and there's Iyesi coming off the line on the right side, so be a half-yard closer to the goal line.
Ooh, wow. And this is where
Ball start. Offense, number 11. Half the distance to goal, remains first down.
And a game is with the pace that this game has, and it's 10-3, and neither offense is really having their way. Field position and turnovers ultimately are going to decide the game. We already have the 2 turnovers for Stanford, which led to the 10 points. This is a big series for Rosen.
Starks, the tailback, takes the ball 3 yards deep and works out to the 2. Would you be adventurous if you're Polamalu, would you let your quarterback sling it around, or would you be
I think if you do that, you probably, because he has the ability to roll outside, maybe you just roll outside away from potential pressure. Kennedy Polamalu. But I don't know about just sitting in the pocket, because Stanford right now, they're in attack mode.
Rosen in the shotgun. Will fire it far side. There's a cushion over there. Completion made. Stretching for the first down yardage is Jordan Lasley.
Yeah, there's a good call. Whether you roll it out or you go to your quick game, just get the ball out of the hands of the quarterback quickly. Recognize the soft corner. And he picks on another, the backup corner there, Alexander. Has a little bit of breathing room now.
Fake it to Starks, pitch it near side, and Walker. Can he make a man miss? No, but he does have another first down to the 25. Murphy stopped him.
And again, that's recognition. The offensive line is running the football. That is just a quarterback recognizing the corner is soft, and he gets the ball out of his hands.
We've got some tempo now for the first time tonight from the Bruins here, and Starks. They'll use it periodically. Mora believes that rather than operate at breakneck, you want to use it strategically.
They have called the same play 3 times in a row, which is an inside zone run for the offensive linemen in the backs, and the wide receivers are running about a 5-yard hitch. It's up to Josh Rosen to look at the defensive backs and make a decision on handing the ball off or throwing it to the outside. He had 2 throws, and that time he ran the football with Starks.
And now Starks is hitting the backfield. They came flying in there. Phillips and Mustafa Branch, a backup linebacker, on the tackle.
Yeah, they blitzed the inside linebacker there, Branch, but finally Harrison Phillips makes a great play. Just slides right by the center, Quisenberry, and a gutsy call there by Lance Anderson, sensing needing a play there. It wasn't just Phillips there, but also the aggressive play by the linebacker, Branch.
Phillips is a hashtag HorribleHarry66 if you want to follow him on Twitter. It was not horrible on that play from the Stanford perspective. 3rd down and 8. The snap is low, and Rosen scoops it up, tries to make something, heaves it dangerously, incomplete. But the penchant to never give up on a play almost cost the quarterback that time.
Yeah, and while you admire that, that he has that belief that he can make a play. That's what they're trying to take away, because there's a fine line between here. You'd like to just see him, especially with the game 10-3. Just get on the ball, just sit on the ball. Here, he not only he's thinking he's going to throw it away, he throws it into play. Stanford player almost comes up with the interception.
Austin Kent, the lefty, boots it away. It's a low kick. McCaffrey again stays away from it, kind of claps his hands in frustration. Hasn't had an opportunity yet to make an impact in the return game. A 43-yard punt. The Bruins dodge disaster. An awful snap by Quisenberry, and then a shaky decision by Rosen. Lucky to avoid their first turnover tonight. Sedina and Kirk, time for your All-State Street Cred.
What a tough day to get on Twitter and go to #StreetCred and try to pick a team, because Tennessee, with a big comeback against Florida, ends up being that team. But we love to debate and argue and have fun with this. Wisconsin over Michigan State was out there. Auburn with an amazing finish over LSU. Colorado Buffs up in Utah.
You got to give it to the Vols, though, just based on the history and the way they came back. Keeper Burns, the first sort of designed run, and he needs 9 yards before Pickett hit him hard.
Yeah, that time they actually used McCaffrey as a decoy, and then a big hit. The quarterback lowers his shoulder, goes back to his high school days. That is a big hit from Pickett.
Folks, he's not going to slide. He enjoys hitting, and Pickett who gives about 30 pounds to the quarterback there, looks a little wobbly.
202-pound safety.
They get him off the field. He didn't look right. On 2nd and 1, again, this big jumbo formation. They shift out. McCaffrey collects it. Possibly a miscommunication. Knocked down hard at midfield. Burns seemed to turn the other way.
Chris, watch how physical this guy is when he runs between the tackles. I mean, people have asked, does this guy have the physicality to run in the NFL? Watch him and watch what he does running through these arm tackles. That's a safety. Randall Goforth coming up. mean, he bounced off 2 or 3
underrated toughness, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, he has everything. He's 6 feet, 205 pounds. He's got quickness. He has vision. He's probably the hardest worker on the team. And again, he's a total package. He's being contained tonight, but it's a great group effort by UCLA.
In motion, the tailback Love into the slot. Now he's got him on the end around, and there is no one in a blue jersey there. An escort for Love down the sideline. They tried to rip at the ball, but he keeps it and gets down near the 20 before Jayon Brown stepped him. You can see the speed.
Well, when you have 11 defenders that are locking in on Christian McCaffrey, everybody is bottled in here, and it opens up to the outside. There again, all night, stop number 5, stop number 5. Look at all these blue jerseys, and look at the room to be able to get to the outside for Love. It's almost like David Shaw and Mike Bloomgren have been waiting and waiting. When are we going to use McCaffrey as a decoy and give a chance to give the ball to somebody else?
Now they got McCaffrey in the wild calf here. And first down. Picks his way patiently, cuts it back. Again, the Bruins crowd him. Kenny Young, defensive star so far for UCLA there again.
When Sam talked to head coach Jim Mora, he said leverage the football. Here's how you leverage the football with your linebacker play. He's going to eventually try to bounce it to the outside, and that's how you stay outside. Kenny Young, a middle linebacker, does a good job of getting outside, forcing McCaffrey back to the inside, and the rest of the powder blue jerseys are there.
Only 3 wild calf snaps before this game, a whole bunch tonight. Burns back in on 2nd and 9, knocked down at the line of scrimmage. That's Nick Terry, the backup to the fine tackle Vanderdos, making the play.
They're just trying to set up a tight end screen to Dalton Schultz, number 9 right here. UCLA getting in a little bit quicker than Burns is ready for. See how quickly they're in. They're trying to set up the lineman. Schultz is right there, but a good job of recognizing that by Terry and knocking the ball down.
Now what's the call here on 3rd and 9?
You know, we've not called Michael Rector's name all night. He's down at the bottom.
He is on the right side of the formation. McCaffrey to the far left, split out wide. Crowd as loud as they've been all night. Play clock at 3. Burns, a screen look. Now scrambles for his life. Heaves it out of bounds. Excellent penetration. Hollins pressured him. There was Kenny Young coming after him again. It's 4th down.
And Chris, you're right. It was Kenny Young. He is in the way. He's right here. They're trying to set up a screen. Watch how Kenny Young gets in the way and eventually just backs out. See him back out? Right there, he's taking that play away. And now Burns has nothing to do. There's nowhere to throw the football. He's got offensive linemen 20 yards downfield.
So Conrad Ucarpina still perfect on the young season. Made it from 37 earlier. And this is from that same distance. To cut the lead to 4. And he slides it through. So Stanford drives at 50 yards in 6 plays. Settles for 3. And game that you don't see that often anymore in college football. Old school.
No.
Every play is really precious in this kind of a game.
Every play is precious, and somebody at some point in this game is going to make a critical error, and it's either going to be a fumble, an interception, a drop.
You're showing Rosen. You're not saying it's going to be him.
No. It's a drop punt. Something's going to happen at some point in this game that's probably going to determine the outcome of the game. You just don't want to be that guy.
No, you don't.
This is a field position game, and this is where special teams comes into play. All the little things, the old school little things, are going to determine the outcome here. With what, 3:10 here left in the 3rd quarter.
And we're both college fans, but it does resemble games on Sunday more. As you look at every NFL game seems to come down the last couple possessions, or so many do, where it is one play made or not made that decides it. It definitely has that feel tonight. Adams, again, very deep to receive the kickoff from Bailey. Drives it low and deep and through the end zone. This week's AP rankings brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. Alabama with the easy one against Saban's alma mater. Louisville taking care of business at Marshall to set up the game against Clemson. That would be a 3 versus 5 game next week if the rankings don't change.
Yeah, they dropped the hammer there. I thought they might be looking ahead and maybe celebrating last week against Florida State. Yeah, pick the Badgers. They were ready to play, man. They've made a switch at quarterback. The fresh redshirt freshman Alex Hornibrook did a nice job today in East Lansing on the road. Badgers look for real. They got a big one next week in Ann Arbor against the Wolverines.
Keep you posted on the Aggies and the Razorbacks. A&M, by the way, opens next season right here at the Rose Bowl against UCLA. Ola Run for me is the tailback. But Rosen goes straight back, looks left, and delivers incomplete. That is one of the drops that have plagued this receiving corps. Darren Andrews that time. That's on him. He's right.
Well, I think you have Kennedy Palomalu communicating to Josh Rosen that they've got backup corners on both sides. They're dropping. They don't want to get beat deep. They are dropping in coverage. We should have open throws underneath. And there's another attempt to try to throw the football underneath. And that time, Andrews just drops it.
You see the 2 starting corners both hurt in the first half and not in. Rosen flips it far side. This is Austin Roberts in the big tight end. Slips the tackle. Stretches. It'll be 3rd and short now. First catch for the sophomore from Hollywood, Florida.
This is Josh Rosen's version of a zone read. Does a good job of being able to field Toohill right here. Actually, outside linebacker here, Alfieri, because he collapses down, he gets the ball out in a hurry and gives his offense there a chance. But that was a read based on that outside linebacker collapsing down with the ball in his running back's stomach.
Bruins have been pretty good on 3rd down, 5 for 10 tonight. And Rosen from the pocket delivers wide open. Catch made, and this is Caleb Wilson, one of the young tight ends, making his 3rd catch of the season, knocked out by Dallas Lloyd. But the Bruins, big gain in business again.
Boy, he showed great patience there and waited for his tight end to open up right here. Gets out into the outside, does a good job of feeling it. See how he looks out to his left and then eventually comes back to the corner route. Really good feel there by Josh Rosen, and a nice protection up front to give him that time that he needed.
Wilson, the son of Chris Wilson, who coaches with the Eagles. He's a USC transfer. And a short gain here for Jamabo on 1st down.
Take another peek at that last throw. Look at his eyes out to the left and then comes back. This is part of this new offense with Kenny Palomalu and what they're doing and how they're attacking very differently from a year ago with Noel Mazzoni, who's down at Texas A&M now. But great patience.
Jamabo spun around but still going, and so pounds away. It'll be 3rd and about 4.
It's a good push up front. I mean, you're talking about every yard, as you said, counts in this game. You get to 3rd and 4 versus 3rd and 6. It's a difference in how you're going to get a play call. I mean, it's good effort up front, good physical running, moving that ball into Stanford territory.
Final minute now of the 3rd quarter.
Let's see how those Stanford corners play. If they're softer or if they tighten up their coverage.
5 receiver empty backfield. You got 2 running backs lined up as receiver. Rosen flushed, fires across the middle, and another drop. That was Ishmael Adams, who should have had a 1st down. Instead, it's 4th. That has been a problem for the first 3 games.
Yeah.
Such a huge problem for this offense.
Absolutely. But this is why Josh Rosen never gives up on plays, because of his ability to make that throw right there. Falling to his left, throws back to his right, and puts the ball right on the money to Adams.
Did his head kind of swivel just before the ball got there?
Yeah, he started to peek. He started to look around.
Rosen took another shot, and they're going to go for it on 4th and 4. Quarterback asking for quiet. Got to hurry. Rosen cannot escape. Looked like he wanted to make a desperation heave, decided not to, but horrible Harry 66 with the setup.
Yeah, that was as much about the coverage as it was anything else.
Harrison Phillips, who's back, he missed last week, just doesn't give up on the play. The pocket just collapsing down on Rosen. Not necessarily the most mobile guy when things are covered downfield, but look at the big fella.
He had a knee injury, missed the USC game.
By the way, we talk about field position being big and decisions being big. Look at him.
That's just exhaustion.
Yeah.
I think, more than anything else. Leaning on anybody who'll get near him.
Stanford has the ball now at their own 42-yard line because of the decision to go for it there by UCLA and the sack taken by Josh Rosen. That is a big play right there to remember, depending on the outcome of the game.
Shaw chose field position and Mora gambled. And now a jumbo formation for the Cardinal on first down. McCaffrey again. Just a lot of humanity. He's not able to get anything. Dropped for a loss by Tack McKinley.
They're ogre. Those big offensive linemen, the young offensive linemen, they wear those 90s jerseys. Another guy down.
Eddie Vanderdoes. Big Eddie. He's the leader of that Bruin front. A guy who suffered a season-ending knee injury early last season in the opener, I think, and it was a big problem for the defense the rest of the year. I certainly hope this is nothing serious. Guy had to work so hard to get back into football.
Yeah, Chris, you mentioned that, and you guys have been talking about the physicality of this game all night, and this is really the downside. So many guys going down tonight. Not only Eddie right there, but Nate Metters, the corner, has been on the sideline with an ankle injury. We know the two corners, and then Francis Owusu, the wide receiver, we saw take that big hit early in the game. He's in street clothes, was in the locker room.
How's that feel from field level?
Ago.
Are you feeling the violence of some of these hits down there,
Absolutely,
Sam?
absolutely. You've been able to see from the very beginning, and it's interesting because there is the physicality, but there's also the quiet on the sideline on both of these teams. Like maybe they just sense the magnitude of the moment. It's an interesting dynamic on both sides tonight.
That's a great point. No urgency for the Cardinal, who let the clock expire in the third quarter. So Stanford in a 4-point hole on the road. End of 3 in Pasadena. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. Celebration of educators across the country through the Extra Yard for Teachers initiative created by the College Football Playoff Foundation. To learn more, visit cfpfoundation.org. Fourth quarter beginning in the Rose Bowl. UCLA up by 4. Stanford ball. 2nd and 11. And McCaffrey again slips a tackle, picks his way, and darts up near midfield.
One thing cool about these kind of games, 10-6, and here we are going into the fourth quarter. All these guys have worked for 8 months, training and conditioning their bodies for these kind of moments to get into the fourth quarter. It's been a grind tonight for the first 3 quarters. Guys are out of the game. Guys are getting hit hard. Now you find out about the mental toughness. Now you find out about who's gonna separate themselves and who really wants it more. It's going to be able to fight through this.
Wild calf on 3rd and 3. Burns out, and McCaffrey trying to find a crease, just does get one. Jayon Brown wrestles him down. That kind of tackle, symbolic of what you're talking about. Brown told me this week, Kirk, I know the nation thinks UCLA is soft.
Right.
We know the rap. We know they're proving otherwise tonight, I think.
Yeah, oh, for sure. They've done that the entire night. Watch 64. He'll lead you around. Power play. He almost gets in the way, slows McCaffrey down. McCaffrey waiting, and then Brown just kind of being able to make that play and gets a little bit of help from Wadu, the safety, but fills that hole nicely. Remember, with the acceleration from McCaffrey, he can hit and go the distance at any moment.
He got the first down. He's out, and Bryce Love spells him, and the speedy back to Slippery navigates for 9 more. Pickett stopped him, but the Cardinal are marching now. This is what they like to do late in games now. Lean on you.
Really good block by Johnny Caspers, 57 on the right side. And I know McCaffrey gets all the attention, but I think as this season goes on, you're going to find more and more opportunities for Bryce Love to be able to make plays. This offense, I still feel like they're searching for playmakers besides Christian McCaffrey.
Love averaging 10 yards a carry so far tonight.
I like his look.
As McCaffrey lined up in the slot there. Flag down as Burns looks for McCaffrey in a wheel route, but overthrows him. We'll check the marker, which is right at the line of scrimmage. wheel routes one of their favorite plays, and boy, they fool teams. Somehow number 5 gets lost, doesn't he?
Last week with USC.
Illegal formation. Offense, 5 players in the backfield.
So the flag and a Stanford player is down.
5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
I think they had Michael Rector, who was lined up in front of McCaffrey, was actually lined up off the line of scrimmage.
They got Daniel Marks. We talk about the offensive line, Kirk, but this big long-haired fullback is a big part of the run game success too as a blocker. We'll take a timeout. Gas lineup this week. Are you a Zach Galifianakis fan?
Yeah, from Hangover.
I recommend you go to Funny or Die Between the Ferns if you want to laugh.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Kristen Wiig fan too. SNL days.
Meanwhile,
we're back to action here.
Stanford with a 2nd and down. 6 yards away.
I think Ryan Burns is seeing a couple safeties that are back. You know, when they have 2 safeties back, you got to be able to run the football.
Give it to McCaffrey. And McCaffrey slithers for a first down at the 32. Well, they move the chains. We'll check in with Cassidy.
Thanks, Chris. A top 20 matchup between number 17 Arkansas and number 10 Texas A&M. And Austin Allen, take a look at this catch and play by Jared Cornelius. He tiptoes down the sideline for a 38-yard gain to set up a touchdown. Arkansas with a 17-10 lead over on ESPN. Guys.
Bielema having a nice year down there in Fayetteville.
Chris, you got a chance. There's no safety behind there. At some point, you got to take a shot.
They really haven't pressed the ball downfield very much with Burns tonight.
No, and honestly, I feel like until this offensive line is your traditional Stanford offensive line that just dominates the line of scrimmage, Ryan Burns in the passing game, as the weeks go on, for example, next Friday in Washington, at Seattle, they better be able to throw the football better, or you better be able to control the line of scrimmage better.
McCaffrey 124 rushing, 5.4 per carry, but has yet to explode for a big play yet. 13 yards is longest.
I just feel like they're waiting for that moment to try to go downfield.
McCaffrey takes the handoff and is knocked down again by Jayon Brown. That's a terrific one-on-one battle all of a sudden. The All-State good hands play.
And the good hands are this defense. Jim Mora talked about needing to get off blocks, being able to use their hands to be able to separate themselves from the offensive linemen, and then tackling well. This has been a clinic on how to defend Christian McCaffrey tonight by the UCLA defense, but will it be enough?
We need 5 on 3rd down. Bruins bring some pressure. Burns stands and overthrows. Really no one open. And he just slung it over the head of Arcega-Whiteside. 4th and 5.
They brought a late blitz that Christian McCaffrey did a really good job. He talked about Jayon Brown. He blitzed there. McCaffrey picked him up to give Burns enough time, but outstanding coverage by the secondary from UCLA. They locked down the receivers and tight end from Stanford.
So Ukrapina made a pair of 37-yarders tonight. This from 44 to cut the lead to 1. He kicked it right on the laces, but still knocked it right through. And Ukrapina, terrific pressure kicker, hometown kid from Pasadena. He shot a glance there. That wasn't how you hope to have it as a kicker.
That's great focus and great follow through by the kicker there. You're right. He hit the laces.
1-point game now.
By Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. And Dr. Pepper. It's a college football tradition.
Once again, thanks to Goodyear for the aerial coverage, watching over the hard work and determination of blimp-worthy athletes. For more than 60 years, Goodyear, official sponsor of the college football playoff. Plenty of blimp-worthy athletes on this field tonight. Stanford, for the 3rd time, held out of the end zone, but Ukrapina perfect, and Now Josh Rosen back to work protecting a 1-point lead here. 10:55 to play. Again, no chance for Ishmael Adams. Bailey has been booming his kickoffs. Monday Night Football. The Falcons and the Saints preceded by Monday Night Countdown at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Kickoff at 8:15. Sean McDonough, John Gruden in the booth. Also on the Watch ESPN app. Former Boilermaker Drew Brees trying to add to 61,589.
Just keeps going.
Just let that sink in.
Josh Rosen last possession had a couple drops and then the sack that helped Stanford to get into the field goal range. Let's see how they set up this drive.
Straight back on first down. Over the middle. No drop this time. The catch is made by Nate Iesi. The touchdown scorer tonight has been a really reliable target.
This is a great look at the throw here. Going to walk the tight end across the middle. Watch when he makes this throw. The route's going to cross. Watch him judge this linebacker. The linebacker jumps the running back underneath, which opened that up behind. Great throw.
First down handoff to Starks, who picks his way. He makes so many throws in the game. You go, wow.
Yeah,
now
there it is.
See what the hype's about. The chosen Rosen.
And then he'll make
others.
one that you just think, well, he's still growing. He's a young quarterback, just in his second year. And I love the call and the attitude of Jim Mora. Stanford pulls within a point. Fourth quarter, they open the drive with a gutsy call right across the middle on 1st and 10.
It's a second down handoff. Starks hammers forward. He's near first down yardage at the Cardinal 45.
And what that does, Chris, to a Stanford defense, instead of just saying, oh, they're going to run the ball, it puts them a little bit, they're a little hesitant. Are they going to throw? They're going to play action? How are they going to attack us? And that can open up some running lanes.
Rosen's a guy who doesn't care about stats. He had a 300-yard game against BYU in the victory and said it was a major step back from the UNLV game. He said, oh, the stats are good, but it was about what he left on the table. Tonight, Kirk, he's not going to mind that the stats are fairly modest so far. Buck 95.
Yeah. But for number 3, the only stat that matters, honestly, like any quarterback, is if they can get a win, that's all he's going to care about.
Just short, third and about a foot. And on the run for me, spins and twists for a first down. And UCLA hoping to do to Stanford what the Cardinal have done so often, which is play with the lead, choose some clock, maybe add to the lead. We'll check in with Cassidy.
Thanks, Chris. Back to Arlington, Texas. Trevor Knight with the quick response goes right up the gut. 48-yard touchdown run for a second rushing TD of the game. He also has 101 yards on the ground in the first half. It's tied up at 17 at the half over on ESPN. Guys?
Cassidy, thank you. Bruins on first down now. And Rosen, who's done a lot on first down, flips it short again. And again, it's Iesi. They have not accounted for number 11 all night. Targeted 5 times. 5 completions down inside the 25 now.
Well, Austin Roberts is actually going to clear out the coverage by going downfield. He takes away the safety, and that opens up a huge lane for the tight end on the other side. You see the safety, how he's being cleared here? He's going downfield, and look how that opens up there. Makes a great throw. Well designed by the Bruins.
The run for me. First down carry. Doesn't this look like a Stanford team? Kind of what we're seeing. Run the ball, throw to the tight end, move the chains.
Absolutely. Remember, and that's been the focus and the talk in the off season. Like Jim Morris said, that's the bar. That's who we're trying to beat. This is, throughout this week, you saw in the LA Times, it's been talked about in the off season. Hard-nosed football, downhill, running the ball. That's how it's going to be against Stanford. They built their program for this night. Movement by the right guard from UCLA.
False start, 69, offense, 5-yard penalty, made second down.
Another reminder, this streak, not just 8 games in a row, they've lost by an average of 18 points. Frequently, they've been beat downs. Like last year's game was 56-10 after the third quarter, and there was a total surrender by UCLA in that quarter.
Yeah, he basically has challenged his team's manhood for this game and this night. And I don't care what the final score ends up being, whether if they win or they lose. This is not the same kind of Stanford UCLA game that we've seen in recent years.
Because of the guys in blue.
Absolutely. They are step for step right there with the Cardinal.
Rosen has time, delivers another strike in traffic, and Darren Andrews, no drop this time, collects it a few yards short, and it'll be a third down play coming up.
Does a nice job here. They only rush 4. See this open up off to the right. See that nice throwing lane right here. Able to decipher. Got to get the ball out quickly because of how that Stanford defense. Again, he's anticipating, trying to throw it before he gets out of his break.
Now, if you're Moore, do you have one of those testosterone calls? You challenge the Stanford D-line on 3rd and 2. Yes, you do. All a run for me though. Stop for no gain. Flying in there with Zach Huffpower from the safety position, and here comes the field goal team.
Boy, Huffpower, how nice is it to see him back on the back end of the Stanford defense. Took a year off from minor league baseball. Great two-sport athlete at Stanford. Kind of, you can see an emotional spark plug for the Cardinal defense. Comes up big with the game on the line here as the Bruins were driving into Stanford territory, deep into territory.
He played for the Hillsboro Hops a year ago. Here he is back with the Cardinal. That was a big stop, you're right. He's from 35 yards. Molson, the freshman. And he threads it right through. Excellent field goal kicking by one veteran and one freshman tonight.
True freshman snapper, true freshman holder, true freshman kicker.
Kick was true. 13-9. Defense able to hit the 275-yard mark so far. Conservative game plan from the Cardinal as they trail by 4, and UCLA trying to not just end an 8-game skid against their opponents from Palo Alto, but beat a top 10 team for the first time since September of 2010. Haven't had a top 10 win at home since 2007 when they shut out Oregon. Think about that. It's been 9 years since they've beaten the top 10 team here at the Rose Bowl. It's been a much better team away from home and a good team against ranked opponents, just not top 10 opponents. McCaffrey is up to receive this. They shifted his position because the Bruins were kicking off very short. That time McCaffrey for the first time able to take a kick back, but you can see his frustration. There's Conrad Ukaprina, Kirk, and you take a look at the ACT inside access, and this is him the day of the game with the virtual reality goggles. They record every make that he does in practice, various spots in the field. He watches them the morning of the game, and that headset, if you haven't had a chance to look at the headset, it's hard to describe how cool it is,
and how realistic it is.
Very realistic.
It is amazing technology that Stanford uses. A lot of other schools have followed their lead and called David Shaw. I know Dabo Swinney and Clemson have done it as well.
So here we go, 6:26 to play, and the Cardinal need a touchdown to prolong the win streak against the Bruins. Burns from the pocket. Finally takes a downfield strike and overthrows Irwin. He was covered by Fabian Moreau.
You and I at the break were saying usually when teams load up against a running game, you challenge it downfield with a vertical passing game just to take some shots because the safeties are up in run support against Christian McCaffrey. So you should have some one-on-one opportunities on the outside with Irwin and Michael Rector. They haven't taken a lot of shots. That's one of their first shots downfield. And I think they're sensing we're under 7 minutes to go in this game. They need to make some plays.
Longest completion, Kirk, 17 yards. That was the catch by Russo in which he was hit in the head and fumbled. It's their longest pass play. This is McCaffrey again, picking his way and driving forward. Again, a gain that didn't look like a 7-yard run, but he got 7. So it'll be third down.
Love to see centers pull this offense. Jesse Burkett, the starting center, 73, leads his way around along with a right guard. It's a slow developing play. It's almost like an outside stretch play. He's just waiting and waiting to find that crease. And when it looked like he wasn't going to get any yards, he ends up picking up 7.
But a crucial 3rd and 3. McCaffrey. No, Burns pulled it, and the big quarterback lunges near the 40. Well, they spotted a first down.
You know, You talk about saving a few wrinkles here for late in the game. How many times did we see Andrew Luck at a crucial moment end up making this decision? Defensive end collapses down. The problem is the right tackle, Tucker, doesn't make the block.
4th down. They're going to go for it. David Shaw keeps the offense. They need about 3/4 of a yard.
He's going to call a timeout here.
So Shaw, who's played it pretty close to the vest, played field position, now feels like down 4. He's got to go for it here. At least that's the plan as they take a timeout to talk about it. Very interesting. Timeout. David Shaw called it a challenge the spot. Here's Burns stretching. Watch when his hip hits the ground right there. Where's the football? It's like the nose of it is
39.5. He's trying to get to the 40.
So it's 4th down. Where the ball is spotted, they might have cheated him about 8 inches,
yeah.
which could be crucial. But we'll have to see if he decides to send the punt team out. Yeah, he is. He's going to punt on 4th down, Kirk.
They're going to punt with 2 timeouts remaining. They lose the timeout with the challenge. So for under 5 minutes to go, you're looking at you need a 3 and out. You need to get the ball back in the hands of your offense. But losing that timeout, see if that ends up costing them.
You got all those huge bodies. You got an all-world running back. You don't try to get a half yard here.
Line of scrimmage has been neutralized most of the game. If you go for it and miss it, the game's over.
Adams obbles it and has to fall on it. A near disaster for the returner for the Bruins, but take over at the 13. Yikes.
Yeah, fair catch. Nobody's in his way. Ball just drops right through his hands. How fortunate. You're talking about fingertips to pull that in.
Williams and Robinson were right around it, and you're exactly right. The Bruins, what they've done in the last 6 drives, a couple of field goals. And you're right, though, the using of the timeout.
How
defense has got to get off the field,
Chris. How will they decide to attack? They've been aggressive, but now you got to work clock, so you don't want to be too conservative, and you got to trust Josh Rosen on some of the simpler throws. See how they attack here, and see how Stanford, they don't want to give him too much soft coverage because he'll throw it.
It's Walker who comes in motion. Olorunfemi runs into a wall and gets nothing. Solomon Thomas has had a good ball game for the Cardinal.
Stanford again going to hold on to those 2 timeouts. UCLA will work this play clock down, far down as they can. Try to milk the clock. Josh Rosen will be in no hurry at all.
If you like physical football and in field position and old school, this is the game that you don't see this kind of a game very often.
No, not at all. This is a throwback tonight. There are a lot of people that are hearing this score, just tuning into this game, that are used to watching, tempo and a lot of speed.
13-9. What is it, mid first quarter?
Yeah, exactly. A couple possessions.
Olorunfemi again tries to bounce, breaks a tackle in the open field, and Olorunfemi will be knocked out of bounds up near the 40. That's the big play the Bruins need, and they got a block on the edge from Walker.
You've got to set the edge here as a defense. Kalambai does not do that. He loses the edge. That is his first responsibility. He can't let the runner get to the outside of him. That's exactly what happened. Huge first down, and now UCLA able to work that much more clock.
They got 23 yards. You see the reaction from the quarterback. To get it running is even sweeter for Mora and these Bruins, and to beat Stanford at their own game here inside of 3.5. First down carry. Gets 2 yards. And the play clock will begin. Don't have to snap it again until inside of 3 minutes to play.
Yeah, and even if you go out of bounds, the clock will stop until the ball is set. Under 2 minutes, the clock will stop completely.
Sure.
But if the ball carrier that time went out of bounds, and I think Josh Rosen could actually work more clock there.
Shaw thinking about that decision perhaps to punt it away and trust his defense. Will he see the ball again? That's the question of the moment.
Now you
Birds get a chance.
You got to take chance here as a Stanford defense, and you just got to assume the run.
Another one for me again, using that left side And it'll be third down. Now we'll see if they do throw in third down.
And David Shaw using one of his timeouts. Will have one remaining. And using that timeout with 2:37 left, third down, and you're either going to see UCLA run and David Shaw use his last timeout, or they take a chance and they throw the football, and if they get a first down, the game could be over.
Yeah, Shaw just went all in on this play, didn't he, on defense?
Yep.
The Ford wrap-up show after the game with Cassidy Hubbard, where we have top 10 team go down here. Stanford number 7. Trying to navigate through a brutal part of the schedule. Took care of USC in dominant fashion. Got to visit Seattle on Friday night. But the more immediate problem, got to find a way to score a touchdown at this point, down 4. If they can get the ball back.
This is a big call for Kennedy Palomalu, the new offensive coordinator. Remember, if they do throw the football, the tight end 11, Yese, has been a matchup problem for the Stanford defense. He's going to be lined up to the left of the UCLA offense.
Yeah, 2 tight ends on that side. Well, the run for me is the back. And Rosen rolls out. Delivers. Near side. Catch made. And it's Eldridge Massington. Knocked out of bounds. It's a couple yards short, so it'll be 4th down.
This is what Stanford wanted. They preserved their timeouts. He decided to punt. Now he gets a chance to get the football back.
Didn't spend the timeout here.
Nope.
And McCaffrey.
Now he does. Now he does. And I think he's frustrated with the referee.
I think he was trying to get his attention. He's saying that some clock ran out before they.
Yeah, because if you're going to use your timeout,
sure,
you use it right away. I mean, you potentially wasted.
Third and final charge timeout. Timer, please reset the game clocks to 2 minutes and 13 seconds.
You know, I think he wanted more than 3 seconds back. So 2:13. First order of business is the Bruins have to get the punt away. And remember, it's a freshman back there, Austin Kent, freshman long snapper, freshman punter, and you better think about kicking it away from number 5 in this situation.
Well, they've done it the entire game, so I'm sure they'll be able to execute that again. But this is what you kind of dream about as a quarterback. If you're Ryan Burns, he's really never been put in this kind of situation with so much at stake. He's waited around for 4 years behind Kevin Hogan, and now he gets his chance to be able to try to lead this team down the field and see if he can come up with a touchdown to win the game.
It would be shocking if they just punt the ball to number 5 and let him have a return. Instead, they crowd him. He makes a fair catch and he draws a flag. It's Marcus Rios down there in coverage with a mental error, not an egregious one, and the Cardinal will be backed up. So they have no timeouts to work with. There's the interference on McCaffrey. Got to give him more room than that.
Interference with the opportunity to catch a kick. Number 9 on the kicking team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's the right call. I mean, actually, as soon as he was able to have the football in his hands, he made contact with him. He was that close. He couldn't even get out of the way.
So still 70 yards from the end zone.
But that's big to get 15 yards free to start this drive. Now you're Ryan Burns and you're out of timeouts. First downs and out of bounds are your best friend.
There's no time to play methodical Stanford football. They'll have to take some chances here, and Burns on first down does throw it far side, wide open, catch made by Irwin, and already they're in UCLA territory. So they'll stop to move the chains.
And they have 3 receivers off to the right. You're going to see a flat receiver and then a deeper receiver, and all they're doing is reading this man right here. He felt that he was up tight enough so he could go over top of him, and he makes a heck of a throw to start this drive.
Burns from the pocket, nobody open. Scramble, still looking, and throws a high ball. Incomplete. Arcega-Whiteside went up high, but no good.
Nice play by the UCLA defense, but there's no harm there for Burns. I mean, he sat in that pocket and sat in that pocket and felt he almost If you take a sack with no timeouts, that's a problem. But by throwing an incompletion, clock stops, no issue at all.
Meadows a good job to shove the receiver out of bounds. Take it to McCaffrey. Burns fires a low throw. That time they're working Whiteside again, and Arcega-Whiteside does make a first down catch inside the 35. And the Cardinal trying to play with some tempo now.
He got his hands underneath. Safeties are split. They attack the middle of the field behind the linebackers.
Burns pressured a bit. The timing was off on that play. Deion Hollins brought the heat off the edge.
Tack McKinley on the left, and you saw both the defensive ends getting pressure there. You're right, Hollins as well to the offense's right. Watch how they both collapsed from the outside. I don't know if they actually touched his arm or not, but it definitely affected his rhythm and timing with the receiver. He's got to have that internal clock, especially with no timeouts. The ball has got to get out if you're Ryan Burns.
Third game as a starter, the first one on the road. Remember, Burns steps up, delivers a high throw. Irwin climbs up and makes the catch inside the 20. What a grab by Irwin. Is having a nice game tonight.
And Wadu is 5'10". He throws it up in the air. What a great effort by Irwin. It's 6'2" to make that catch.
He's made 6 catches tonight, Kirk Irwin. All of them resulted in a first down.
And he gets out of bounds to stop the clock.
Empty backfield, and Burns rolls, delivers, broken up. Threw it right into traffic. They tried to get it to Rector, but Moreau, a terrific play.
And Moreau jumped that route, got his right hand around, made a heck of a play.
How about the job that he's done tonight on Rector? They figured to put number 10 on him, and they have completely shut down.
One reception early in the game for 3 yards, and I think Burns tries to get the ball to him there. That last sequence, that last play, you saw McCaffrey at the bottom of your screen. Now they're going to use him in a split backfield. They love to get him out of the backfield on a wheel route. They scored on a touchdown against USC last week.
You see McCaffrey pointing out to the quarterback something he saw. And McCaffrey delayed release. Burns delivers far side complete again as Irwin Wadu stops him.
Now you need urgency because without any timeouts, David Shaw communicating to Ryan Burns. Burns now communicating to the offense. The clock continues to tick. They're running players on and off the field. The clock continues to work.
You're right. They can't play fast when they're bringing in new personnel. The defense will have a chance to sub now if they choose to. They don't. 3rd and 3. McCaffrey.
Wow, gutsy call. Gutsy call. If he doesn't pick up that first down, the clock would continue, but the clock stops now with that first down. Now they'll fire the ball into the ground to try to stop the clock.
How about this drive so far from Stanford? 63 yards, 8 plays, done it with no timeouts at 1:36, and they've got themselves in scoring position.
Please reset the game clock to 32 seconds. And the game clock will start on my signal.
Every second counts. Every inch counts in this situation.
They might have put a few seconds back on the clock because the umpire stepped over the ball with that substitution. Here they fire the ball into the ground.
Kirk said it'll be 2nd and goal. You're right, though. If they get tackled inbounds, it's big-time urgency.
Oh, if it's a gutsy call there on 3rd and 3.
But I mean, on this play, on the next play,
but I mean, you trust McCaffrey there. But if he comes up short, now it's a fire drill to try to come up on 4th down and try to execute with the clock ticking. McCaffrey comes through. Here's what it comes down to at this point. 2nd goal. You can't come up short of the goal line, and you can't take a sack if you're the quarterback.
Right into the UCLA student section. Burns lofts it. Arcega-Whiteside goes up. Touchdown, Stanford. And the Cardinal take the lead with 24 seconds to go. Their first touchdown tonight.
I love how he put the ball way up into the air, giving his receiver enough time to adjust to the ball, find it, catch it, and then put his foot down inbounds for the touchdown.
Didn't have a catch this year coming in. and has a highlight moment to remember forever. Wow.
They have struggled all night to move the ball. They go 10 plays, 70 yards, a minute 41.
And that says it all from the UCLA perspective. This has been a bitter head-to-head for them. And unless they can conjure a miracle, it's going to be a 9th consecutive loss to Stanford. Carpino just sneaks the extra point through. That was big as it moves the lead to 3.
Arcega-Whiteside comes into this game, and in that drive, he had that catch where he got his hands underneath, made that big catch. Look at the emotion.
Think about this. I mean, you wait, you dream about this moment in the Rose Bowl Stadium. A game-winning catch in the final minute like that. And the quarterback that's waited a long time to have a drive like this, Kirk.
I was going to say, it's a great catch. Amazing concentration. But the throw by Brian Burns was incredible. He's waited for his chance to kind of show his team, I'm the guy. I'm the guy. They made the right choice in camp. I can lead us in this kind of situation on the road when things haven't gone well. Puts the ball, as I said, up into the air. Something you work on and work on. He puts it up into the air to give his receiver a chance to find that football and then get his foot down. That says it all right there.
The drive was 70 yards, but what Jim Moore will write on that little note card is the interference with McCaffrey in the return, which cost him 15 yards. Who knows? They might have gotten there anyway with Burns, but it did give them a little better chance with no timeouts. And now Adams is deep. He's 24 seconds. Bruins will have a couple of timeouts. And they're going to kick it to Adams, who can be very dangerous in that position, but is dropped down at the 22. So 20 seconds to go. Rosen's got a big arm and got speedy receivers.
Yeah, he does, and he's got a couple timeouts. I mean, you need a big play here on this first play to give yourself a chance. You know, whether it's a crossing route with 2 timeouts, it's not like you have to work the boundary. You don't have to stay to the outside. But you do need to get upfield in a hurry. You need a completion around the 40-yard line or so right here.
Yeah, like Kenny Walker, Ishmael Adams, definitely very speedy. Stanford rushes 4 and flushes Rosen, who delivers to Andrews, who was left completely alone on the sideline and scoots across the 45. 10 seconds to play.
The defense completely lost him. They were more worried about the receivers going downfield. He's got 10 seconds, 2 timeouts. I mean, you're still looking to try to get to about the 35-yard line to give yourself a chance.
Molson did miss a 48-yarder against A&M. He's got a good leg.
I would have a crossing route. Try to work some of the receivers downfield and one guy come across the middle at about the 35, 40-yard line.
Rosen lofts it downfield. Walker running free. Almost made the catch. Just closing in was Justin Reed to break it up.
Justin Reed just sitting back there playing center field. He is a young sophomore that they say can fly. Does a good job. He was more focused on the ball than trying to separate Walker from the ball. Almost went up there and made an interception. Doesn't have to make that interception. Just knock the ball away.
And now with 4 seconds to go, Kirk, you can't think about anything but a Hail Mary at this point.
Yep. And with 2 timeouts, they'll use a timeout and talk it over.
Unless he thinks he can get a play within 3 seconds to the sidelines, perhaps. Very risky.
Yeah, be hard.
Man, that was so close. I think Walker saw the ball coming and thinks, I got a huge catch.
And he is not necessarily the tallest receiver to throw a vertical pass downfield. He's 5'10". Usually you see a kind of a longer receiver downfield, but he is fast. I mean, he can try to find that seam in the zone.
Kirk, how about Justin Reed, part of a secondary that lost both starting corners, Holder and Meeks, to injuries early tonight. They've had to regroup and rely on their depth, and that is a huge play by Reed.
Yeah, we've seen Terrence Alexander have to play and Murphy have to play. They've talked all week to us about their depth that they feel that they have, and they've been able to play with that depth tonight.
3 receivers to the right. Cardinal with 3 defenders backpedaling inside their own 15. Rosen's got a big arm. Can he get it to the end zone? Buys time, launches, hit, from behind. Ball comes loose, picked up by Alfieri, and he's going to roll to the end zone with 000. Solomon Thomas picked it up after Alfieri knocked it loose, and a significant play to some as Stanford punctuates this win with a defensive score. Wow. And the pain continues for Mora and the Bruins against their rivals from the north, as Shaw souls Rosen. What a moment for a very unheralded receiver, well down to the depth chart. And the frustration evident from Big Eddie. McCaffrey wasn't the story tonight, Kirk. He rushed for 138 yards. The string of 200-yard all-purpose games is snapped at 8, but he didn't care about that. It's a victory for Stanford. Let's go down to Sam.
Well, Ryan, your first career start on the road. How would you describe what this one was like?
I mean, I thought we started pretty slow. I mean, especially me. I mean, thought I could start better, but I mean, we came together as a team at the end, and we practiced that stuff all the time. So it was just repetition, and it worked out for us.
Take me through the thought process on that last drive. You guys have been running the ball a lot. You hadn't had to throw very much. All of a sudden, it's all on you.
Yeah. I mean, we practice that 2-minute every Monday, so I mean, it's not new stuff for us. I mean, I like doing that kind of stuff, and I just put the ball up for JJ at the end, and he grabbed it, so it's all good.
Let's talk about that, because he's in there mostly because Francis was out, which obviously is difficult. What was it like for you to see JJ get that catch in the clutch?
Oh, it's awesome. He works so hard every day, and just a guy like that being able to win the game for us is awesome. So.
Congratulations on keeping the streak alive, Brian. Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, and Coach is here too. Coach, we'll grab you since you're right here. Tell me what your thought process was like on that last drive with that much time left, knowing how things had gone.
We worked the 2-minute every single week, starting in spring, right? We know what to do. The guys know what to do. There's a reason why you recruit big receivers. JJ's a phenomenal young talent that's just getting started in his career. We know inside the 20-yard line, if he gets one-on-one, he's got a ridiculous vertical. He's a great basketball player. He's a heck of a receiver. So we know if we got him a chance to go one-on-one, we're going to let him go get it.
How much pressure was there on Ryan on that last drive? After, by his own admission, a rough start for him, and they'd done so well on Christian.
Pressure is imagined. It's not a real thing, right? We go out there, we run the plays that we know. He went out there, he executed. I have a list of plays I know he's most comfortable with. And we just try to get completions, and if he has to scramble, he scrambles. We ran the ball a couple times. He got completions, and, can't say enough about Trenton Irwin. He came through big in this game. But we knew if we got down there, we knew we had a chance to win it.
Obviously, you get the win. That's most important. But how would you describe what you were up against tonight? That looked like a different, more physical UCLA team.
This is what we expected. And, as I said at halftime, we got a young team. And not necessarily young, but a little bit inexperienced. This is going to be a new environment for these guys. And we tried to warn them, you're going to get UCLA's best shot. This is a very good, very talented football team, and I'll say this on national TV, Jim Moore doesn't get the respect he deserves for what he's done here. You look at the program when he got it, these guys are physical, these guys play hard, they got a phenomenal quarterback. They're probably going to beat him up for this game, but his kids played extremely hard, so we tip our caps to UCLA.
A classy response from David Shaw. Coach, we appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thank you.
In tradition that Harbaugh brought back as they hail Stanford down there in the corner.
Some guys grew up tonight. This last drive set up by this. They were going to start at about their own 15-yard line. Instead, at their own 30-yard line. And then you see Burns make some plays, finding some open receivers, showing great poise. He said, David Shaw, everybody talks about practicing this. It's one thing to practice it. It's another thing to hit the Rose Bowl and have to execute it and make that throw right there to a receiver that, for the most part, never made a play like that in his career. He steps up at a crucial moment and makes the play to give the Cardinal a victory.
I know that he said pressure is imagined, but Burns, who had 8 completions before that drive, had 5 on the drive. And here's the hit of Rosen. And picking the ball up and scoring a touchdown is Solomon Thomas. So it's 2 touchdowns in the last 24 seconds. That defensive score will be taken note of in the desert. But meanwhile, in Palo Alto, a Cardinal team you said grew up tonight.
Yeah,
they got a very short week to recover from a very, very physical game and face a serious challenge in Seattle Friday. but they're not worried about that at the moment, as Sam has Christian McCaffrey.
Well, Christian, if your uniform shows it, this was a rough night in terms of physicality. How would you describe what you were up against?
We knew they were going to be an extremely physical football team. They've put that on tape the last two weeks that they've been playing. But it comes down to just penalties. We were hurting ourselves a lot with penalties and inefficiency on third down and just inefficient plays in general. But, Marcus Luttrell always said, man, you're never out of the fight. And that's the movie we watched last night. And, that's what we kind of owned up to today is we never gave up. We came in down, a tough place to play and knew that we had to do a lot in order to win a game. You got a young receiver that comes out at the end and makes a hell of a play. And that's the kind of stuff, man, that great teams always have these games. But we got to bounce back and be a lot better.
What is it about this team that stays so even-keeled when, to be honest, at the end, it didn't look like it was going to finish this way? What is it about this team?
I just think that's how we were trained all throughout the offseason. Our strength coach, Coach Turley, trained us for times like these, for times of adversity. And, we stick to our training and stick to our gut and stick to what we know, and that's what happens.
Congratulations on the great win. The streak remains, Chris.
It does.
Thanks, Chris.
138 yards rushing. You say kind of ho-hum when you see that with McCaffrey, how productive he typically is. He got about 5.3 a carry. His streak of games with 200 yards all-purpose or more, which was 8 in a row. His snap, he had 165, but again, it was just that kind of a night.
This is a huge win for Stanford, but I think it's also big for them for the big picture because it's only their third game of the year. Think about what they've done here in the early going. They played a Kansas State team. They played USC, and now they played UCLA. And they've been challenged. And I think as you look at this team as a threat to maybe win a Pac-12 championship game, or Pac-12 championship and maybe a playoff team, you actually need these moments because there are a lot of players that are playing, as we saw in that final drive, that have never been out here. And when you make these plays, it gives you such confidence when you can face adversity and come through. So not only do they beat UCLA on the road, it gives them incredible confidence and momentum going into next Friday at Seattle, which will be another tough conference game against the Huskies.
Another big challenge for that guy right there who's all smiles. Burns, option quarterback from Virginia, comes all the way across the country, and this touchdown pass to that guy as McCaffrey and the Cardinal win at 22-13 with a 0-0 defensive score at the end. Tonight's game, produced by Bill Bonnell, directed by Derek Mobley. For our entire crew here, we hope you enjoyed this throwback Saturday night football game as the Cardinal extend the win streak against UCLA. Next Saturday night, Lamar Jackson and Louisville taking on Clemson in Death Valley. Hope you'll join us then. Stay tuned now for the Ford Wrap-Up Show and to Cassidy Hubbard.